Good evening, ladies and gents, wherever you may be around the world, and welcome to Splendid Isolation number 278. We've been going quite a while. As always, to give people the time to join the stream, etc., I'm going to start us off with a tune.
Take up the white man's burden, send forth the best ye breed. Go bind your sons to exile, to serve your captives' need. To wait in heavy harness on flooded folk and wild. Your new gods, sullen peoples, have devil and have child. Take up the white man's burden, in patience to abide, to veil the threat of terror and check the show of pride. By open speech and simple, 100 times made plain, to seek another's profit and work another's gain. Take up the white man's burden, the savage wars of peace. Fill full the mouth of famine and bid the sickness cease. And when your goal is nearest, the end for others sought, what's love that heed and folly, bring all your hopes to naught. Take up the white man's burden, no tawdry rule of kings, but toil of serf and sweeper, the tale of common things. The ports ye shall not enter, the roads ye shall not tread. Go make them with your living and mark them with your dead. Take up the white man's burden and reap his old reward. The blame of those ye better, the hate of those ye guard. The cry of those ye humor are slowly towards the light. Why brought ye us from bondage, our loved Egyptian night? Take up the white man's burden, ye dare not stoop to less, nor call too loud on freedom to cloak your weariness. By all ye cry or whisper, by all ye leave or do, the silent, sullen people shall weigh your gods and you. Take up the white man's burden, have done with childish days, the lightly proffered laurel, the easy ungrudged praise. Come down to search your manhood through all of thankless years. No age with give or wisdom, the judgment of your peers. Take off the white man's burden through all of endless years.
And that was Chris Gard. If you like good music, including good contemporary stuff as well as more traditional stuff like that, go and check out Chris Gard's YouTube channel. You can also follow him on X, on Twitter, where we are also live at the moment. Good evening, gents. I'm hoping we're going to get a couple more guests during the course of the stream. But I've got a couple of people here with me today. Regular Tharium and Beta Britannia, who hasn't been on for a couple of weeks, so I'm happy to see B back again. Did either of you have something you wanted to talk about this evening, which is not Anne Widdecombe, because we are going to talk about that, but in a bit, hopefully when AI gets here.
I've got a little one to start with. So, what's your favorite? As I'm sure everyone knows, one of your favorite movies, Duke, is Zulu. Yeah,
sure, for sure. Yes, I don't think that's a pretty well-known fact.
Well, we had the Morocco versus Paris football game, and we had the inevitable reaction from the Moroccans, and it reminded me. This reminds me of like watching Zulu. You got these few police, and then all of the Zulus come out, and they all start chanting in a second. Look at this.
Doesn't it strike you as strange though, Fariam, that the police don't have riot gear on?
I know, right?
But whenever the white people were doing things, they're in full riot gear with shields and everything. Why not for these guys?
Especially
doesn't
because
that strike you as strange?
Especially when they knew this was going to happen. Everyone knew, Morocco are playing against France. Everyone knew this was going to happen. That there'd be a riot. This is in London, but apparently there's riots in there's obviously riots across the continent.
There were certainly riots in Paris, I know.
Yeah.
But the thing is, why are there Moroccans in Britain? Morocco was never anything to do with Britain.
No. But it's just, but they knew this was going to happen, and I can't imagine. And there must be some bullshit rules, right? It's like whenever the diversity are kicking off, don't get out the riot gear. You're just going to incite them and make them worse.
You can't have your shields and your helmets and your batons and all the rest of it. You can only use those against the indigenous British white people.
Yeah, and it's like, why would I do almost feel I do feel sorry for these police officers. Like, why would anyone want to put up with this shit? You're just sent out there, like, are vastly outnumbered with nothing against this lot. You know what's going to cause problems.
You guys, where's your empathy? Where is your empathy for these poor Moroccans?
Well, quite. But
I'm joking, obviously. But this is all after a sporting event, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a football game. Yes. And it's a football game between France and Morocco. Fuck all to do with Britain.
Not even, guys.
Well, France in quotation marks.
Yeah, I mean,
because aren't they all black?
Yeah, you find it quite difficult to work out who were the French and who were the Moroccans, to be honest. But yes.
Well, something to say to you, because there was a map that was shared of what each country in Africa who they're rooting for. Morocco, obviously, rooting for Morocco, but the rest of Africa is rooting for France. So just
oh my God.
The Pan-African team. Yeah. He just got all these Moroccans chasing the police.
Even the English team is like minority indigenous white.
I think there's like 3 of the 12 or something.
I think 4, actually.
Oh, okay.
a reminder for our overseas guests that there are 11 men in a football team, but anyway, whatever. 4 of them are English. That's why I don't even watch it. I just don't watch it.
Insane.
Yeah.
Think of how much money this is going to cost to clean up to all of the damage that they do.
All of the mess and the smashed windows and
right.
Yeah, this is London, but in Paris they were deploying 20,000 police officers.
Oh my God.
That's millions. That's millions and millions that costs just because there's a fucking football match. And just insane. And that's not including any of the damages done. Just deploying the police.
Most of the 22 players on the pitch were, in fact, not French, but African.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't know why anybody that's white would want to be a police officer these days either. Like, you're opening yourself up to so much potential risk.
This scene here, you got these handful of guys, like a couple of dozen guys, surrounded by hundreds of Moroccans, and they've got nothing. They got a few batons. They don't even have helmets.
Oh God, I forgot. Yeah, they don't even have guns, do they? Jeez. That's so scary.
But as we were saying, Aubrey, before you joined us, the interesting thing is whenever the British police do anything against the indigenous real white British people, the Anglo-Celtic people, whenever they do that, they're in full riot gear. But,
right, of course.
Whenever they're facing the diversity, in air quotes, there seems to be some policy that they're not allowed to use it for those guys.
Well, maybe that is a bit of a compliment to you guys, because you guys are more intimidating and tougher. How's that?
That may be true, but I'm sure it's not meant.
I don't think that's probably why they're thinking it.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, somebody is using a leaf blower, the bane of your existence, Duke. So I'm gonna run inside real quick so that doesn't bother you.
I mean,
I know you do.
Yeah, I mean, we've got the England versus Norway match tonight. There's not going to be any of this. None of this is going to happen.
You won't get any rioting. I couldn't think the Norwegians are not known for rioting. So.
Yeah,
there'll be chess games afterwards.
Yeah, and like Nate Spurs says, the problem is also it doesn't matter if they win or lose. Like all these like African people.
Oh yeah,
comparison stuff. It's just there was a football game. Let's go smash it up in a riot.
Yeah. They got the no intellectual, no intellectual stuff at all. This is all they can find to do, basically.
Yeah.
Awful. But if you import the third world, you become the third world. This is just more evidence of that.
Well, in the U.S., they damage their own cities too. I mean, they don't. I mean, these are people, right, from other countries.
Well, I mean, they're living there though. They're living in this place. It's just
they are actually living there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this is London, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
These are Moroccans who are living in London. Why there are Moroccans living in London, I couldn't tell you, but
a lot of them.
Yeah, and there's no reason for Moroccans to be in London. Morocco was French; it had nothing to do with the British.
Right.
Well, here's the thing, Duke. When they came here, they all said they were Syrian.
Yeah,
that's probably true. Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah. But also, it's interesting, isn't it, that when you see behaviour like this, I mean, you may remember back from older World Cups, like in the 90s, people crying, football hooliganism. Well, you don't see them saying that anymore, do you? When it comes to
no. It's funny that's completely gone. Like my younger brother was a Millwall fan, and when he was a Millwall fan, like back in the last century, I'm talking about, when he was a young chap, they were always going on about football hooligans. But as you say, Bede, they don't do that anymore because these people are not indigenous white people, and so therefore they're allowed to do anything they like, pretty much.
Yeah, I'd say this is like in something. I mean, plenty of especially like Paris and stuff. It's far like we did have a bad football hooligan problem, but what they're doing in like Paris and stuff is far worse than that, and what our sort of rough lads ever were.
Yeah, and also I will say this about the English football hooligans back in the 20th century. They mainly only interfered with each other, to be honest.
They just wanted to fight.
Yeah, they didn't do much to anyone who wasn't involved in the teams,
Yeah, it's just an excuse to fight each other, basically.
Yeah, it was just a bit of tribalism,
rather than just smashing everything up. Because,
But yeah, it's just another example of how far not just Britain but all Western countries have fallen, especially over the last 25 years or so. I mean, you can't argue it any other way, basically.
And it's like you got to just wonder, like the people in power, like they've got to be thinking, like, why are we doing this? We just need a massive police force presence whenever there's some football game out. Why do we need to put up with this?
Yeah,
it doesn't matter if you win or lose either, does it? It's going to happen.
No. Yeah.
Well, it's just any excuse to have a riot,
right?
But I mean, it's Morgoth put up a good post on X a little while ago. And apparently, Henry Novak, the guy the Sikh guy stabbed to death, who the police didn't believe, that he'd been stabbed, and who they handcuffed because the Sikh guy claimed he was a racist. Apparently, his last words were, "I am not a racist." And so Morgoth put up a good tweet on X, and he said, and let me make sure I get this right. He said, this will be the final whimper of the entire white race unless we get our shit together real fast. And he's just totally right about that. You know, I'm not a racist. What, do you think that's going to do you any good when we're a minority in our own countries? Because it won't, I assure you. I mean, it doesn't really now. Look at Henry Novak. So, you know.
Yep.
Doesn't, you know, there's no point in not being a racist, to be quite honest with you, because these people are definitely going to be racist to you.
Yeah.
It's just craziness. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
Right. B, did you have anything you wanted to talk about particularly?
Well, let's talk about the other big main news story this week, other than the other one we'll do when AI gets here, which is Nigel Farage committing potential political suicide. So,
the Count Bimface battle, yes.
Yes. Yeah. So for anybody who's not been paying attention, Nigel Farage is in a bit of hot bother because prior to becoming an MP, he was given a £5 billion donation by this crypto billionaire guy for like basically saying well done for Brexit. And
well, the story on that has changed a bit over time, hasn't it? He keeps coming up with different excuses for it, Farage.
Yeah, so well, basically he was given £5 million by this crypto billionaire in January 24, so about 6 months before the election. And when you become an MP, if you receive payments of larger than £50,000, you're expected to declare them. Farage decided not to declare it, arguing that it was a personal gift, so therefore it was following the rules. But however, because of it's £5 million, that's pretty suspect. And all I have to say is Farage should have known how much some elements of the system hate him, and he has to realise that, of course, they were going to use this against him if it was found out. So he should have bloody declared it.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I know he said that this was before he became an MP, but I think you have to declare.
That doesn't matter,
Yeah, you have to declare everything for the 12 months prior to becoming an MP, I believe.
Otherwise, it looks an awful lot like someone just pays you $5 million.
Right.
Then you go and so that you stand, and then the interesting thing is one of the first things Reform came out with was that they wanted to deregulate crypto and make the and do a Bank of England have a national reserve of Bitcoin.
That's a bit suspicious, isn't it?
If I was a crypto billionaire, say, I'd really like that news.
Yeah, that £5 million might have been money well spent. I mean, the thing that gets me though is if he'd have declared it, he would have been fine. They couldn't have done anything about it.
Yeah,
I mean, he may have had some whinging.
He didn't tell them.
Yeah, I mean, you would have had some leftist whinging about him making a load of money, but there would have been no legal or political consequences for him.
It's not illegal to make money. I mean, anyway.
Well, this was clearly a bribe, but if you legally declare your bribes, it's kind of nothing you can really do about it.
Yeah, and let's be truthful here. There are all sorts of shady things like this that go on in the House of Commons all the time. You know, Andy Burnham, when he was mayor of Manchester, was giving juicy contracts to his mates. You know, this sort of thing is not just Nigel Farage. I am not a fan of Nigel Farage. This channel in general supports Rupert Lowe and Restore Britain, just in case anyone's new to the channel and they don't realise that. I'm not a fan of Nigel Farage. But on the other hand, I don't think he's done anything any worse than many, many other MPs.
It's not worse, but also like we don't need to defend corruption when we see it.
No,
that's kind of my position on it.
But if you're gonna pull Farage on this, then you've got to pull all the other.
And I'd happily do that. Yeah,
you know, and so would I. But they're not going to do that. You know, they're not going to go after Labour MPs. They're not going to go after so-called Conservative MPs. We all know this. Now, you know, the fact that somebody like Rupert Lowe gives his MP salary to charity every month, that I hope puts Rupert Lowe well beyond being touched by any of this. But I don't think that Farage is like some uniquely evil politician, not at all. Even though I'm not a big fan of Farage, and I agree with some people in the chat that Farage and Reform UK are indeed containment. But they're definitely going after him in a way they wouldn't go after a more conventional politician.
Yeah, exactly. And another point I want to raise is that because Sargon and Dan on the Load of Seaters do this like weekly kind of politics show, and they were talking about how like Farage has been moaning about the excessive their media coverage and stalking his family and whatnot. And Dan made a very good point. Farage should know that the British press are absolute scum. They do this to anybody they want to go after, and he should know if you're going to become the leader of a major party, a party that's potentially going to win the next election, and you become prime minister, they're going to dial that up to 11. So you need to take precautions and don't give them anything.
Yeah.
And where are his like PR people? Where are his?
Where are his lawyers? Well,
right.
why wasn't he given better advice?
Right, exactly. Because they should have all of this. He shouldn't be the one managing all of this.
Yeah, I mean, there's a question about the legal advice. So, well, can you publish it, Nigel? Because you've got to be a pretty fucking stupid lawyer to think this would be okay.
No one will notice.
Well, another point, hang on, Nigel, you got 5 million quid. You're saying you can't afford good legal advice?
yeah, and of course it's not just this. There's also this other stuff with this George Cottrell, who was this another sort of crypto guy. Was laundering money and got arrested for that in the United States. He's been funding. He's been funding all sorts of stuff for Farage and stuff, and he's like, look, it's a convicted criminal, Nigel.
Yeah, he was going to get 20 years in an American jail, but because he gave the FBI information, he only got 8 months.
Yeah,
it's that's a very dubious case, if you ask me. And apparently, the way he got arrested at all was the bloke he was going to launder money for on some dark website was actually an FBI agent, so he was set up in the first place. So
So yeah, but then
I wouldn't say he was set up. I would say he fell into that. I mean, he was there trying to do this. The FBI agent didn't. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but the laws in different countries are different. But I mean,
but
in many places,
can't entrap here. I mean, you can't.
Yeah, whereas in many countries that would be entrapment and illegal. But
right,
whatever.
You have to have them make the first move, and there's all kinds of
But But this is
Well, I mean, this is just
Nigel needs to clean his act up.
Yeah,
if he wants to become prime minister, he has.
Yeah, this is another thing that, like, did no one tell you, Nigel? Like, how about you don't present yourself as being best buddies with a convicted criminal? Just
not the best idea, especially as he's supposed to call Nigel dad and stuff like this.
Yeah, and it's also like you can see. Like I've said for a while, if Reform get into government, I think they will be the most corrupt government we've ever had. And you can see this with Nigel, how he's one of these like boomers who are just obsessed with wealth. He hangs out with people far wealthier than himself, and he's just always chasing that.
Has he not learned from Epstein what happened there?
He's a jumped up barrow boy, and if you look at the barrow boy culture, a lot of it, I hate to say it, and this isn't my own personal classism coming through, I hope, but there is an element of Essex man, emerging Essex man, class resentfulness and greed. I don't like the that sort of barrow boys 80 Thatcherite deregulation culture, because I actually think it is more so than on the social level. I think it probably is one of the most disgusting, and also you can draw a direct line into political apathy when it comes to nation states, nationhood. And it's not just Nigel. There's many people around, many political figures on the right who are like that, and will delve into that sort of behaviour.
I mean, we see this in someone like Zia Youssef. I mean, if they get in, it'll basically be like a yuppieocracy, essentially.
Yeah.
Well,
effectively.
let's remember that Nigel Farage, before he got into politics, was a city guy, and he wasn't poor. And also, this chap that we were just talking about, who the FBI arrested in America, he's actually an aristocrat.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's a wrong un from the aristocracy. So it's not just Barrow Boy stuff. It's a bit wider than that.
But it's like Nigel is a multimillionaire, but he kind of views himself as poor. It's just perspectives on these things are so out of whack because of the circles he likes to swim in.
Hasn't he got like 4 houses or something?
Yeah.
I think it's just like a chip on his shoulder from like early years or something. Did he grow up poor?
I don't think he grew up.
He wasn't poor. He wasn't poor.
No, I think
like normal.
Ordinary middle class dude.
Middle class. Yeah, middle class.
Yeah.
He went to a relatively decent private school. Very middle class. I mean, he wasn't part of like the old aristocracy of like your Lord Aspinalls and Lord Lupins and those sorts of things, the Mayfair set, if you will. He wasn't from that crowd. The only connection he did have to that was Jimmy Goldsmith, who also had I know Rupert Lowe had very close connection to as well when he was involved with the referendum party.
Yeah.
Now Jimmy Goldsmith was kind of an interesting fellow because him and Tiny Rowland were kind of like rogues, people in the aristocracy who did try and fight back against against the new money. And if you watch Adam Curtis' Mayfair set, there's actually it's a really good way of charting it. One of their big feuds was Goldsmith, Tiny Rowland against what was it? Who was the one that the Egyptian who?
You mean Mohammed El Fayed, who was
Mohammed El Fayed? Yeah, so
whose son was Princess Diana's.
That was the Egyptian shopkeeper who was messing around with Princess Diana before she got killed. Yeah. Well, Egyptian shopkeeper, he owned Harrods, but same thing.
Yeah, that's a very generous. Do you know what's funny is apparently Goldsmith was absolutely disgusted with an interview that Mohammed El Fayed gave to. I think it was ITV the day that it was the grand opening of Harrods again under his management, and he was boasting on television, national television, how much of a profit he made on that day. And at that time in Britain, it was seen as incredibly rude, impertinent, and lacking etiquette to to even talk about money in such a way. And I
mean, it still is, really.
It is.
Yeah.
Brendor Different 1284 in the chat says, and this is true. Farage, who as we say is not a poor man at all, was doing these ridiculous little videos for $100 a hit, including that one, that one where he set up the RA, which by the way is a pro-provisional IRA thing, but whatever. Which Farage may not have even realised that, to be honest. But
what was it like? Big Chungus.
Big Chungus get on that bussy skibbity doo. Yeah.
It's really this is not what you expect a potential prime minister to be doing. Let's be honest, it's not.
If you're like an actor, right? Fine. Who cares? You're a prostitute, basically, right? You're doing your thing, but when you want to be prime minister, come on now.
Well, politicians are the ultimate prostitutes, though, aren't they?
Well, yes,
really?
Yes, you make a very good point, Aubrey. But yes, I actually agree with you there. But even so, for £100, he was doing these stupid little videos. I mean, he doesn't.
That's embarrassing.
He doesn't need £100, yeah, if anyone on this stream did that, fair enough, because none of us are rich, but Nigel Farage is quite rich.
You hear that, everyone? Give us £100 super chats,
Yes.
and we will say, we will read out your message.
Absolutely. So long as it's not a pro-lefty or a pro-Troon message or something like that, yeah, $100, I'll read them out.
That's £200.
Yeah, and if you, no, I wouldn't do that. No, I have my limits. I wouldn't do that. I actually kicked somebody off the Discord last week, because they decided they were going to transition. I'm many things, but I'm not a hypocrite. You will not find Troons on this channel. I just don't do it. So, and I'm not a hypocrite. If I say I won't do it, and if these are people I wouldn't be involved with in my personal life, they're not going to be on my channel either. As simple as that.
I get threatened to get kicked out for much less on a regular basis.
Yeah, but you're a woman, and you're the only woman on the Discord these days. So there was only ever two. There was only you and Lady.
Jessica.
So
just imagine. Okay. Just imagine, IG. You come this far. You're on our Discord. You're in our space. You come this far. And then you decide, no, fuck it. I'm gonna go back. I'm not just gonna go back to Normieville. I'm going to take like a doses of blue pills and go straight to, hecking hell Redditville, Normieville. Like Jesus Christ.
And I'm going to let everybody here know it too. I'm not going to just like leave with my tail between my legs. I'm going to let everybody here know it.
No. I've got to be honest here. They didn't actually tell me or anyone on the Discord. It was somebody else pointed it out to me from where they'd been posting somewhere else.
Oh.
So yeah, they didn't even have the bottle to come and tell me, because I suspect they knew I would have kicked it if they had them. But. Yeah. It's really.
And look, I can forgive elements of right-wing eccentric behaviour. Let's say in most forms, and it does exist, because I think right-wing people are the most interesting people than the left, and definitely are the most extreme when it comes to things they do, right? But at the same time, I think it's okay to sort of police a level of standard. I mean,
yeah, that's my view.
Yeah.
My view is, if someone's going to be in my Discord, and it's a private invitation-only Discord. Although, people like these guys can invite people to the Discord if they want to, if they trust them. But I just use the same standards I use for my friends. I'm not going to have a friend who's a tranny. I'm sorry, I'm not. So therefore, I'm not having them in my Discord. The whole point of this channel is that we sit around and we discuss what's going on in the world from a British and Old Commonwealth point of view, which is not very common on the internet. Mostly it's America, of course. And we do so like a group of friends in the pub, so I'm not going to have people on my Discord who I wouldn't have in my personal life. And like I said, if someone I knew came up to me and said, I'm transitioning, I'd say, well, good luck to you, but you're not going to be my mate anymore. It's as simple as that,
it's just like there are things you can do that maybe you will waffle a little bit on this belief or that or opinion, but like to say you all of a sudden that's going completely to the other side. There's not any middle ground there.
Yeah, I don't
completely the other side.
Just to be clear, I don't expect anyone to totally agree with me about everything. That's ridiculous. And I'm sure that out of the 4 people on this panel, apart from myself, I'm sure all of them disagree with me on some things. But that's fine. But if you're a bloke and you're going to pretend to be a woman, that's beyond the pale as far as I'm concerned. And equally, if you were a chick and you wanted to pretend to be a bloke, like that tiny little American girl,
Elliot Page.
Canadian,
5
foot 1 inch a 5'1"
Gr-
Greek warrior in that film.
Well, 5'1"
Ba-
girls
yeah.
are great, but not in that case. Maybe not as superheroes.
Yeah.
It's-
I got so yesterday Friday evening we were out with I was out with some mates and we got a bit drunk, and I can't repeat on here what we said, but it got very dark in regarding to that. And obviously, because I think she's playing Achilles, right? That's
no, she's not.
No,
She's just playing some
no.
other Greek warrior. It's not Achilles.
And actually, it's a Greek
Oh, right.
warrior, and it's a Greek warrior who's not even in the
Yeah,
Odyssey.
he's in the Aeneid.
It's from the Aeneid,
Mm.
which, for anyone who's not up on their classical stuff, was written by a Roman many years after the Odyssey.
Are we going to see a Greek god molest Elliot Page?
Well, I'm not going to be able to tell you because I'm not going to watch it. I'm not even going to pirate it.
It would be accurate. It would be mythologically accurate.
Oh, for God's sake, AI, please stop.
Yeah. Come on.
AI. AI has a dark little mind. I'm telling you.
The next thing, AI, are you going to demand them make an Elagabalus film?
Oh yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they've already done Caligula, of course, who had that sort of stuff going on.
I think you could sell
Elagabalus. My favorite Roman emperor. My favorite Roman emperor, by the way.
Well,
fitting.
there was
That's fitting. It's following a pattern.
Yeah, there was him, and what was it? The other guy, Nero. He also was a bit inclined for that sort of tranny stuff, I believe. But both of them were very unpopular because of it, even in ancient Rome.
The trouble with Nero is he was kind of a poser, and he just didn't have aura. Caligula had aura, like the stuff with his horse, and like if anyone could get away with like jester, like madman maxing, it's Caligula. He just was him. You know, like the contempt he had for the Senate is incredible. I just love it. And
didn't do him much good in the medium term. It's got to be said, AI. But you know,
well, yeah. I mean, true. It caused
he only lasted about 4.5 years or something, didn't he?
Yeah, but what?
I mean, even when he was a little kid, they all were like, "This is a little dictator in the making, right here." This kid.
He was
little general. They were always saying, right?
No, he was popular as a little kid because his mum used to dress him up in like
a soldier.
as a little legionary, and his name Caligula actually means little boots, as Adam Cooper is pointing out in the chat. And that's a nickname. No one called him that.
Because he would actually go out there and like play around on the field with the soldiers, right? I mean, like sword fighting and stuff. And
they liked him, and his father, of course, was extremely popular because his father was Germanicus, who probably would have become emperor if he hadn't have been killed or died. We're not quite sure. But Germanicus was kind of like a political superstar in Rome. You know, he was very popular because he was a successful general. His troops liked him and all this kind of stuff. You know,
with I don't know if I got in contact with Adrian Goldsworthy and tried to explain that why Caligula is probably the greatest Roman emperor. I don't know how that would. How do you reckon that would go down?
Oh my God.
Well,
I guess
in spite of the incest AI and murdering his sister.
Yeah. It's a bit like, you know, again with Nero, punched his pregnant wife so hard in the belly that she lost her baby, and I think she died eventually. You know, or kicked her actually, I believe.
Also, speaking of Nero being inclined that way, I only just realised this last year when I was rewatching I, Claudius. But do you remember which actor actually plays Nero in I, Claudius?
No.
It's Christopher
No,
Biggin.
actually, is it?
Yeah.
It's who? Who is it?
Who was it?
Christopher Biggins.
Christopher
Oh,
Biggins.
okay, yeah. I was gonna.
Why
I'm
were
getting,
you guys laughing wickedly after that?
well, because he's well, I guess you'd say he was a comedian of some description. But,
Yeah.
He's on the waterfront, as Tennessee Williams used to say.
Yes,
Ah.
indeed.
Yeah.
Do you want to
Yeah,
see?
I mean, he's
Sorry. Do you want to see Penelope from the new Odyssey movie? That Odysseus left this behind to go after African Helen.
Oh,
But
Oh
you
my
know,
God, you love your Anne Hathaway, don't you?
yeah, she's cute. But
She looks pretty good there, though. When
She's
did she get
pregnant as well.
breasts?
She's
That's
pregnant.
why. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
she
know.
looks good with the little extra weight.
But the funny thing is this, right? The reason you had this African woman who's playing Helen of Troy, who was really Helen of Sparta, of course, but they have this African woman playing her, and also a mythical twin sister. I mean, she had a sister, but she wasn't a twin in the original Greek texts. But she's moaning that, there's not enough about women in the Odyssey. The whole thing about the Odyssey is that Odysseus, he abandons goddesses and demi-goddesses and all these drop-dead gorgeous, like, supernatural people to get back to his wife. That's the whole point of it, really.
That's a good man right there.
Exactly. It's like she's one of the motivating factors. He wants to get back to his wife and his son. It's just
that's sweet. He does go through hell too.
Yeah, he does. But
he
spends time with goddesses and stuff. But he abandons them to get back to his ordinary human wife.
Who, as we can see here, was clearly much better looking than Helen of Troy.
Well, yeah, according to this movie, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
She looks good here. I'll give you that.
But she was up, Penelope's always supposed to have been attractive. I mean, she's never supposed to be an ugly girl.
No.
But yeah.
I mean, what's wrong with Nolan? Like,
I know, right?
No idea, man. No idea.
What the hell's wrong with him? What's wrong with him? Like,
I saw a comment. I saw him making a comment because people have been pointing out how shit the dialogue is in the Odyssey. Like, you got Odysseus' son going, "My dad's going to come home." What the fuck is that?
Not my father.
Yeah, the bloody excuse. Oh, you see, he wouldn't have said father because it was Greek, and I'm like, you fucking moron. It's
that.
Wasn't
I love the voice.
Wasn't Greek for father pater? I think something like that.
Well, it's Latin, but Greek would have been like patros.
Oh, sorry,
so it would have been. Yeah, but my point is, it would have been etymologically similar.
Yeah, I mean, Papa would be like a short abbreviation in Greek for as well.
I think I saw someone talking about this film, and they said that Greek did have a shortened version of father.
Yeah,
like
this was
languages do, but but why would he have said daddy or dad?
Yeah,
when they're talking formally to
this was Nolan's response. He was going, well, it's totally illogical that they'd use formal language when talking. So I'm going to use modern language to make it more exciting and accessible to modern day audiences.
I don't know about
Shakespeare's era.
Shit.
Well,
and plus, Odysseus is a king. Like, I think he would actually use the formal
Yeah.
Greek.
This is a point which Sargon made on a stream I watched a while ago. All of the famous heroes in in the Iliad and the Odyssey, they're all kings.
Yeah,
they're not ordinary soldiers. They're kings, all of them, or princes at least. And yes, they would have been quite formal, I suspect. People like that often are. You know, British aristocracy used to be quite formal 150 years ago. You know, it's. I don't know. Look, I did a tweet on this movie, and I said I wouldn't go and watch it if Christopher Nolan gave me $1,000, and I wouldn't. I seriously wouldn't. But I got, I don't know, something like 40,000 views on that, which is quite big for one of my tweets. And all I got was a load of shit lips and Christopher Nolan fanboys saying, well, we don't care, he doesn't care. So I
just getting mad at you for that.
Yeah, I did a reply and I said, well, if you don't care, why reply?
Right.
You know, it's like, I put that tweet out because I hope it damages the movie, because I think it will be a bad thing if this film makes a lot of money. I think it might still make a lot of money, but who knows?
But what's the point of Nolan now? I mean, he's basically just outdone Ridley Scott in like shit levels of historical and mythological filmmaking.
And the armor's shit.
I mean, he's,
the armor's shit AI.
Yeah.
The armor is. I mean, I wouldn't have cared if they'd have gone the classical route like they did with that movie Troy. You know, with Brad
Troy
Pitt
was
and what
fine.
have you.
I thought that was a pretty good movie, actually.
Yeah, it's not a bad film. It's not totally accurate to the Iliad, but it's not a bad movie. And
the thing is,
right, they used classical era armor in that, but at least it looks like some sort of ancient Greek armor. The armor in the Odyssey that I've seen on all the trailers and the stills, it's shit. It looks crap, and it looks nothing like ancient armor.
I think the actors that played Hector and Achilles did a really good job. Brad Pitt and is it Eric Bana, right?
Yes, Australian guy.
Yeah, I really like him. But they did a really good job. The Helen girl, they could have been better cast, but
well, I don't know. She's a hell of a lot better than the Helen in this. She's a lot prettier than the Helen on this.
Yeah, you guys, who is the black girl that they're having? Is it the girl from Wicked?
No.
Okay.
So. No.
This is
the same. So
this one was on one of those 12 Years a Slave, I think. I think that's where she's.
Yeah, I think she might have been in that. Yeah.
Oh God, I do my favorite bit of 12. We had. I remember. But this is before red pill days, everyone. So we went. I think I was in college, so we went and saw it in cinema, and the only bit I enjoyed was Paul Dano's little montage of singing, which again I cannot repeat the lyrics here, but if you type in Paul Dano's 12 Years a Slave slave song, it's good, and I think he enjoyed a wee bit of that's just my thought on it.
Well, look, the point is, as we said earlier, Helen of Troy, who was really Helen of Sparta, she would have been a Greek girl. She wouldn't have been an African girl. And
wasn't she supposed to be blonde and like fair haired?
Yes, she's supposed to have flashing white arms and fair hair.
Yeah, this girl's about as dark as can be. I just looked her up.
She wouldn't be Bantu. I mean, this is the thing is, look, we all have to pretend now that there were fucking Bantus running around the whole place in the ancient world, in Rome, in like fucking medieval, in like early modern Britain.
Don't forget, all the Egyptians were Bantu, according to black people.
Yeah.
Well, remember when Google AI came on and they had the thing with the Highlander and the girl like back, people from 1600s Scotland, and it was like a black guy and then a redhead girl. Very.
It's just
the way it was.
It's stupid, and we shouldn't give these people our money. I mean, I think basically what the Hollywood's game these days is they're generally very anti-white anyway, but they're particularly anti-straight white men. Like
absolutely,
everything they do is really just anti-straight white men.
Listen, if they distill it a little bit, like every decade, more and more, eventually what's going to happen is we're not going to be around and it's going to be these young kids that have grown up with all of this, and they're going to
That's
be
the idea.
right.
Yeah,
Exactly. I mean, and
that's the idea.
they're winning right now at this. Unfortunately.
I listen. I hear people defending Nolan, saying, "Oh, he's not particularly woke," but he is.
I mean, how can you not say that? How can you say that he's not?
He's in that Hollywood genre, in that Hollywood milieu, and also don't forget the Academy, etc. in Hollywood. You know, the people who give up the Academy Awards. They have said that unless you have diverse, in air quotes, casting, because all diverse means is not white, basically.
Right.
Unless you have diverse casting, you're not even going to be considered for Academy Awards.
Nolan in this movie, he doesn't have any orchestral score because apparently they're instruments that hadn't been invented at the time. He's got
rappers.
Yeah, he has a rap song though.
No.
And yes, he does. He's got rappers, and he's also, and they're using what's that machine, guys? I'm not a musician.
The auto-tune thing.
The mixes rap music and stuff. I can't remember. What
like a beatboxer, like they're beatboxing.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure they didn't have those in Bronze Age.
Synthesizer.
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 Yeah. But the thing is, do you remember last year the BBC produced that god awful, awful?
I didn't see it. But
the 1066 Battle of Hastings. I
didn't watch it, mate. I didn't watch it because it would have just made me angry.
Literally the same thing. The same thing happened. The same thing happened that what we're describing here. They made London out to this is right bizarre, but London was basically a fort in this version. It was a small fort with 2 buildings in it, I kid you not. And then secondly, you had Morcar, who was black, and his brother was white. How the fuck does that make sense?
Yeah. No, you're totally right. But because we put it up a while ago now. Bede, would you like to tell us what this is that we have on the screen here?
Talking about subversion of the Odyssey. Well, unfortunately, Nolan is downstream of a wider trend. So, for those who don't know, there's this female feminist classic scholar called Emily Wilson, and her translation of the Odyssey from about 10 years ago is aggressively pushed in the mainstream. And I believe it's her translation that Nolan's actually using for the film, which explains why the dialogue's awful. Let me just read. Okay, let me read. T.E. Lawrence, we all know who he is. So, divine Posey, goddess daughter of Zeus, sustain for me the song of the various-minded man, who after he had plundered the innermost citadel of the hallowed Troy. Compare that to Emily Wilson. Tell me about a complicated man, Muse. Tell me how he wandered and he was lost, and when he had wrecked the holy town of Troy. It sounds so shit. It is. It's so mundane. It's just has no rhythm. It has no passion. It's just lifeless.
And she actually says, this Emily Wilson, feminist so-called historian or translator, she actually says that all of the translations that we have are from men and their patriarchy, and they're particularly from British men, because that's particularly evil, and she says that quite openly. It's and like I said, if you look at the Odyssey, there's actually a hell of a lot of female involvement in it. The goddess Athena is in it quite a lot. Circe is in it, who's a demi-goddess, I think. And then Penelope, Odysseus is his wife. And there are other female characters in it. It's not like there's no women in the Odyssey. Nonsense.
I'm telling you guys, feminists are unattractive women who just are insecure, and they are angry, and they hate white men.
Sure, yeah. All of that is certainly
and
true.
I have no, I just that kind of insecurity and that kind of like chip on your shoulder. I mean, the thing is that feminism has just gone crazy, and these people that are so focused. Nolan, I used to think was a pretty good director, actually. It's really disgusting when they stop going for, they just start going for only the Academy Awards.
Well, I've got to say, I didn't like Tenet at all. I thought it was crap and made no sense. And I'm not a fan of his Dunkirk movie. I think it's crap. There's one ship in it, supposed to be a Royal Navy destroyer, which is plainly a destroyer from the 1960s with the radar and all the rest of it on it. Doesn't look anything like a World War II British destroyer. And that's the only warship in the whole film. You look at the Dunkirk beaches and there's about 25 people on them, because you won't use CGI. I thought that was crap. If you want a decent film about Dunkirk, you should watch the 1959, I think, British one with John Mills. It's a much better movie. Much better. And
I liked
his...
his...
It has small boats and all that kind of stuff in it,
I liked his Batman movie, The Dark Knight. I did like that.
I don't really like capes and tights films, but I mean, okay.
Yeah. They're fun films.
You gotta say, though, Christian Bale's a really good actor, and he's one of yours.
The Batman films are very memeable as well, which I always appreciate.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think he's a flawless director at all. I didn't really like the one with that Southern American dude in that you like, Aubrey.
Benicio del Toro.
No. Interstellar. Interstellar.
I don't think I saw that.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't.
Inception.
I didn't really like that. Inception was good.
See, that was one everybody was like, Aubrey, this is your movie. This is totally your movie. But I guess because I have narcolepsy and the dream thing, right? But I didn't love it. I don't know. Maybe I'm needing to see it again, and maybe I was too distracted.
I liked Inception much more than I liked Interstellar.
Wait, didn't it have that girl in it though? The Juno girl?
Yeah.
Now that I think
Ellen
of it.
Page was in it. Yeah, Ellen Page was in it.
That's right.
You see, now Elliot Page was doing some boxing videos. He put out these boxing videos on the social media, trying to look tough.
Oh,
apparently,
it's so crazy.
And apparently, because this is YouTube, he actually went and got ab implants to make it look like he's got abs. Wow. And he's been open about this.
I just watched It. I won't call it he, but I watched it at one of these red carpet events.
It's pathetic, isn't it?
And it's like shorter than you, Aubrey, and you're not a tall girl, but shorter than you.
I mean, by like a quarter.
No, well, probably by a bit more than that, actually.
I'm 5'1"3/4.
Oh, okay. So you're an inch taller than this person claiming to be a man. But anyway, whatever.
That's a pretty short man.
Yeah, I know guys who are 5'6", 5'7". I don't know many guys much shorter than that, I've got to say.
But 5'1".
Now, Ellen Page or Elliot Rogers or whatever the hell it's called now.
Elliot Rogers, someone else they are very different.
Is it? Who's Elliot Rogers?
Elliot Rogers was that incel guy who went berserk and shot up University of California.
Oh yeah, I remember him now. Yeah. Okay. Well, sorry, it's just that it all happens roughly around the same time frame. I get a bit confused in my old age. I remember that Ellen Page or whatever was in a PlayStation. This was like years and years ago, and I think it was one of those Telltale games.
The Last of Us, I think you're thinking of.
No, it wasn't The Last of Us. It was it was some sort of it wasn't horror. It was like a sci-fi-esque. Like she had like a clairvoyance or something like that. Anyway,
it's Beyond Two Souls. I just looked it up.
Beyond Two Souls. Thank you. And I would admit, okay, and just roll with it a minute. 2000 in her mocap at that time period. In that time period, okay, hold on, guys. In that time period, she looked pretty good. I that in that time period.
You were so nervous to say it.
I can see I was going to
I thought she was cute in Juno.
I had a
Caligula he likes, and Ellen Page or whatever. Yeah, okay.
I had a friend who he hadn't heard about Ellen Page's transition, and I told him once in a conversation, and she goes, "Wait, that chick from Juno? No, she was hot. Damn it! Why'd you do that?"
Well, I mean, yes. I mean, there's obviously mental illness in there. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, but
she was cute though. She was cute in a like a young kid kind of way. She, like a baby face kind of way. But I wouldn't say hot really so much. But
she was
beautiful.
Aubrey, Richard Hughes in the chat is telling you The Flowers of War with Christian Bale is quite good. It ain't bad actually.
Wait, is that the one, Duke? Didn't we watch that? Where the Japanese one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yep. Chinese actually.
Oh, whatever. You made me watch it.
Well, I didn't make you watch
You did.
It,
you know? Oh no. Yeah.
Oh, I twisted your arm from 6,000 miles away.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
You guys, the number of like war movies too. I've sat down and watched with this man.
Oh yeah, okay, but I mean that's
like no, that was a good movie.
That's not really a war movie. It's mainly
no.
I know a group of schoolgirls and a group of prostitutes.
Yeah, it was actually very sad.
Yeah, but it's not. But it's not a bad film. It's very anti-Japanese, and I was hoping we'd have Mitch on tonight. Although I suspect what's happening with Mitch is he's watching the World Cup. So, I think he's watching Norway, England, or something like that, which I have no interest in. I don't care who wins out of those. In fact, if you're in favour of white people, you probably want Norway to win, to be honest. But
I kind of like that Haaland guy. He's all into his Vikings, loves his Vikings. His diet is basically meat, raw milk, and eggs. It's yeah.
They kind of memed him into being like a Dragon Ball Z character as well. I don't know if
it's a Christian Bale movie, but it might be. Isn't that Empire of the Sun?
Yep, I was gonna say that was a great movie, actually.
I thought it was all right. I didn't love it.
So I saw it as a kid with my dad, and I was like, "Why did you make me come to this movie?" Because I was bored out of my mind. But then I watched it later on, and I thought it was pretty good. Plus, Christian Bale could sing. Wow. Okay, and then he was in was it Newsies or Swing Kids then too? He was in. Yeah, I like Christian Bale. He's been.
I sure haven't seen that, but whatever.
Yeah, that's probably not your kind of movie.
There was like a film that he was like in this club, and he was this super racist, and he just told the black guy, "Sorry, they don't serve malt liquor here."
This is Ellen Page from your. This is the game that AI was talking about. This was her at that time.
Yes.
Perfectly cute.
I've just realized something.
Oh no.
What's that?
Oh no.
You gotta say that.
Guys, we've been going for an hour, so I'm gonna do a bit of channel admin, and then I'm gonna ask.
And then you have to make AI say what he was gonna say.
Well, sorry, go on. Say what you were gonna say.
Probably rather not, to be honest.
Oh,
too late.
Yeah. Darn it.
No, I just realized. Oh God, I just realized
you're among friends. Don't worry.
And the whole world.
There's only hundreds of people going to see this. AI. Don't worry about it. It's very private.
Some friend of mine did a mod back in the day, and that's all I'll mention. But I just realized because it was like it was on like an Unreal Engine. It was I think it was a Skyrim mod with a companion, and I just realized I know who based the female character off of. This is going back like to 2012, so yeah.
That's all right. You would have been very young back then.
Very young.
So, yeah.
I was
as we know, Duke,
16.
AI is very impressionable.
Yes. Anyway, guys, I'm going to do a bit of channel admin, and then we are going to talk about the tragic.
Well, we haven't finished.
Murder. Well,
we haven't finished with Nigel Farage, have we?
Yeah, I was going to say, we kind of got a bit sidetracked there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess we did. I guess
15 minutes.
Did.
Yeah.
No, I thought we're all right. We'll come back.
Do
to
your
Nigel's
stuff,
barrage.
yeah.
All right, I'm
Yeah.
going to do a bit of channel admin, guys. Please like the stream. It really helps the channel. Takes you a second. Doesn't cost you anything. And also, of course, subscribe for more content. Although these days on YouTube, your subscriptions are something YouTube doesn't really care about, but they do care about likes and viewers. The other thing I'm going to say is that if you would like to support the channel, you can do so via Subscribestar, which is pinned at the bottom of the chat on YouTube and is also in the description of the stream. And it's a whole $5 a month. And it really helps the channel. At the moment, we've got 6 subscribers. I'd really kind of like to triple that, to be honest. And then I'd only be paying a certain amount of money out to keep this channel going. And I'm on a fixed income. So, you know, pretty much I'm semi-retired these days. So, yeah, do support us via Subscribestar. I can't do super chats at the moment. I've tried. And doing it on YouTube is dubious because if you monetize on YouTube, YouTube pays a lot more attention to you than if you're not. And we all know that YouTube is not a free speech platform at all. And also, of course, they take about a third of your super chat money for themselves, which I don't like.
Well, it's more like half because you pay a third to YouTube, and then the bloody IRS takes a fifth of what's left after.
Yes,
ends up being
yes.
like 45%.
Very true, Bede. Very, very true. Someone is asking, how much are cigs out in Alderstreet? Adam Cooper, I've got to tell you, the cigarettes in Australia are about 50 Australian dollars, which are worth a bit less than American dollars, but 50 or 60 Australian dollars for 20.
That's ridiculous.
If you buy the legal ones, but let's say many people in Australia don't these days. You know, Australian actual smoking hasn't gone down at all, but most people simply don't buy the normal cigarettes anymore.
So for 20 here, it's $8 to $10.15, depending on state tax.
Yeah, it's about $50 to $60 in Australia for the same.
Wow.
What is that? That's like 40, 60
40, 45
it's
quid.
about 40, right?
It's about 45 quid.
Crazy.
For 20 smokes. I mean, I think that's worse even than Britain, isn't it?
Well, I think they passed that thing where if you're born after like 95 or something, you're not allowed to smoke ever, right?
Yeah, I don't know how they. That's.
Yeah, I think if you're born after 2000, I think it's like 2000 something, you're never allowed to buy cigarettes.
That I don't know how they can legally back that. Wow.
Well, I can tell you what will happen is the same thing that's happened in Australia, which is most people will start buying untaxed cigarettes.
Right.
Yeah, because it's like prohibition in America before World War II. People wanted alcohol, so they couldn't get it legally, so they got it illegally. And that's exactly what's happened in Australia. And the other ridiculous
before World
thing,
War One, even.
Well, it was after World War One that America had prohibition. But after
Never mind. No, I wasn't, but okay.
It was 1919 to 1932.
Thank you.
That's what I thought. Yeah, so World War One finished in 1918.
In 18?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
wow.
First world.
You guys,
first.
I'm just a girl, remember? Just a girl.
Yes, exactly.
History's not my thing. I thought it was.
But the point I'm trying to make here is that in Australia, vaping is illegal, right? I mean, you can vape, but you can't get vapes with the stuff
nicotine.
that makes you with nicotine in. You can't. And people do because you can import it, but you can only sometimes get it because sometimes Australian customs will seize it. And this is all these medical nutcases. And for years, these people were going, oh, look, smoking in Australia, it's completely dying out. And it hasn't. People are just not buying taxed cigarettes anymore.
I've
and it's a billions and billions of dollar business for.
I mean, that's insane to pay that much for. Oh my God!
That's why, but nobody does. You know, almost nobody does. And the Australian government, and because you know most of that money goes in tax, the Australian government are losing millions and millions and millions of dollars in tax.
In taxes, right?
Yeah, and even the cops and some more sensible doctors are now starting to turn around and say to the Australian government, "This is fucking stupid. You
well,
are
because a lot
cutting
of
off
them
your
say,
nose."
well, and a lot of them say that actually it's better to do that than to vape, because the vape, at least like, you know, the markets here are so unregulated as to what you're, you know, what you're having.
Yeah, you don't know what they're putting in it. Yeah.
Look, as I say, look, I'm not a libertarian, but I am not in favor of stopping people doing things that they want to do that doesn't harm other people.
If you're an adult and you, right.
You know, by and large, it doesn't harm other people.
I've
had a triple heart bypass operation, and my doctor, my lady doctor, said to me, it would do you more harm than good to give up cigarettes at your age.
I disagree with that, and I told you that at the time, but that's okay.
Well, does she just mean like from a stress point of view? I'm guessing.
Yeah, that's what she's talking about.
Yeah, because I've been smoking since I was 14. I mean, I'm not going to give up now. It's just not going to happen. You know?
And you're just a very stubborn old man, so.
Oh, thanks.
I've met people who.
I'm not that old. I'm only 61.
I know.
Jesus.
I've met people who they never smoked cigarettes in their life, but now they're addicted to vaping. Which is great, isn't it?
Like I said, I think we got bigger problems than this stuff, guys. I really do. It's like, you know, the country is being invaded by people who don't belong there. That's more important to me than like stopping people smoking, I've got to say.
Something I just wanted to add though, is I get what you're saying, but I think we still have to have hard bans on like drugs. Because they're just dangerous.
Yeah, listen,
I agree.
Listen, you're never going to hear me say, "Oh yeah, we should allow people to smoke heroin and stuff." No, I'm never going to say that.
I mean, here, listen, I'm going to play devil's advocate for a second, and you're going to hate me, Duke. But from a healthcare perspective, it is actually very expensive. Okay, I'm not even going to go down this road because it's going to get me. And so
listen, I can tell you that the love of my life, who was a registered nurse, she actually pointed, and also did smoke, I've got to say. She pointed out to me that, in fact, there is a strong argument that because smokers die a lot younger than non-smokers, and because elderly people are what really costs an enormous amount of money in healthcare.
You're saving.
Yeah, because smokers kill themselves off at a younger age. There's a strong argument that it actually saves the health service money.
I mean, that's one way to think about it, I guess.
Especially if you have a ridiculous free at the point of delivery health service like Britain and Australia does. Although the Australian one is a little bit better than the British one, not much, but a bit.
It's actually funny you're saying that, Duke, because recently I've been watching Yes, Prime Minister for the first time, and that's literally in one of the episodes. It's like, hacker at the Prime Minister wants to ban smoking. It's like Humphrey saying, "No, you see, if people smoke, it reduces the burden on the healthcare service.
Yes,
all the smokers dying off."
Yes, true story. True story. Yeah. And that's without, of course, the enormous amounts of tax. Like, I mean, leaving the ridiculous Australian example aside, in all Western countries, but certainly in Britain, you know, about 60% of what you're paying for a pack of cigarettes is tax. So you're paying a lot more tax than a non-smoker as well.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the same goes for people who drink alcohol. Hell of a lot of the money you're paying for a pint of beer or a bottle of wine is, or a bottle of whiskey is tax that goes straight to the government.
Well, Shall we bring this back to Nigel Farage then?
Yeah, I know you.
'Cause
you want to talk about Farage, Farage. Go on.
Yeah. Because so
we
went over.
didn't really talk about.
No, I'll get. So
we have to also talk about the fact that the establishment, all of the mainstream media, and most of the mainstream parties, like the Uni Party, the Labour. So
we'll get there.
They're all supporting Count Binface.
We haven't got to Binface yet. We'll get there. Just a minute. So with all this corruption stuff going on, there's which is probably gonna result in a by-election that Nigel is going to have to face, because he's probably going to be suspended for more than 10 days. So he'll be facing a by-election. Now he thought, and I'll give him credit, this was quite a good plan on his idea, on his part, because he was his thinking was, I'll call a by-election now, and then he's the odds-on favorite to win. So then he can win it, and then he can put pressure on them to drop the investigation. Because look, I've just been through the by-election, I've had it, I've done it, so let's just move on. Because otherwise, because currently as it stands, if he wins a by-election, where he's going to still have to face another one when the investigation's concluded in September, because he clearly has broken the rules. But problem is, then Rupert Lowe was the first one to announce, this is a stunt. We're not going to stand for this. We will stand in the next by-election after your investigation is concluded. And every other party all followed suit. They realized, oh yeah, we can do this, except for Count Binface, which has just made it all backfire completely.
There are Farage. There are.
Yeah, there's like Henry West. There's Henry West. I think Lawrence Fox.
Henry West is our Henry West, isn't
it? Yeah.
The guy who Aubrey knows.
Love Henry.
Yeah.
Awesome.
He's standing. I'd sooner vote for him than Binface, to be honest. But there's also there's some young dude,
Kai Stevens,
from a right-wing party, I believe.
Yes, like the National Democratic Party. Yeah, he's interesting because he was a former member of the Homeland Party, and he's friends with people like Steve Laws and Zuma historian and Callum Barker. And what's interesting is that
there you go. I think if I lived in Clacton, which of course I don't, but if I did, I'd be looking either at Henry West or that young chap. I wouldn't be Lawrence Fox, for God's sake, what an idiot. But yeah,
I think he's going to come last, Lawrence Fox.
I tell you what, he might as well.
Yeah,
but I think if you're genuinely right wing in Clacton and you can't bring yourself to vote for Farage, I'd definitely look at Henry West or the young chap that Bede was talking about.
Henry West is great.
Yeah, I like Henry West. He's really funny. I don't think he's a politician, but he's very funny.
It's a joke.
But he was in the military, I mean, I give him credit. He's a
I'm not saying
but
he's not a serious politician.
No, he's running. He's doing this as a joke. His platform is France exists, and it shouldn't. So
yeah, he wants to destroy France, which I will say is not such a bad idea. But yes,
yeah. But yeah, the fact that it has become just a joke really has totally backfired on Nigel Farage, because he gets no legitimacy from this if he wins. Because
and yet he's got a campaign hard, because if he loses, he's fucked.
I mean, obviously none of us here are fans of Farage, and it would kind of be the perfect end for him to lose to Binface, because then he's got nowhere to go. All the talk of he wants to have some American chat show and stuff, all of those offers are just going to dry up, because man, you lost to a bin. That's so pathetic. He will just fade into nothingness and irrelevancy if he loses to a bin.
I've got to say to Alphabet Cat in the chat, do not vote Count Binface. Count Binface is a shit lip. Don't vote for him, honestly. This is why the what's his name, Andy Burnham from Labour, and all of the mainstream media are supporting him. Don't vote for him. No, it's not funny.
Yeah, I mean,
if you don't like Farage, vote for one of the people we just talked about. Don't.
And if
vote
you do,
for
if you
campaign vote.
and if you do like any of them, just like write in Hitler or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
Just-
or spoil your
I was
ballot.
gonna
Yes,
say, I was gonna
spoil
ask
your
if you guys
ballot.
can write people in. Can you write
Yeah,
in?
you can spoil the
Yeah.
ballot, but they don't count the vote. But it's just a spoiled
Yeah,
ballot.
Right.
Yeah, you can do that.
Write in Jonathan Bowden.
Oh yeah, Jonathan Bowden.
Well,
Yeah.
right in the ghost of Jonathan Bowden.
but I think
Do you know what?
Clear them out on the ballot
I'm-
paper.
And before you people, because before anyone says, "Oh, that's been a bit offensive," if Jonathan Bowden, if he was alive today, he would probably think that would be quite funny, to be honest. If there's like if we get behind the campaign to write in like the ghost of Jonathan Bowden or something, you know, the spirit, the spirit
Yeah,
of Jonathan Bowden.
I think he would find that funny because Jonathan Bowden had a pretty good sense of humor in most ways.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's. But yeah, don't vote Cameron Base because he's a shitlib. He's a shitlib.
I got a better one. Write in the Ulster crocodile. The Ulsterman crocodile. That's a very obscure Bowden reference there.
Okay.
The Punch and Judy. Do you remember? Did any watch of his Punch and Judy?
Right. Okay.
Yes.
And he imagined that the crocodile in that has an Ulster accent. So the Ulsterman crocodile. There you go. That's a obscure reference.
I actually remember watching Punch and Judy when I was a kid at the seaside, and
I think they've kind of like stopped it all because it's domestic violence. And we can't.
Yeah. But when I was a kid, you could still watch people at the seaside doing that.
Yeah.
What, like in real life or Punch and Judy?
No, Punch and Judy, of course. For God's sake, guys.
You fucking slag.
Yeah, I've got to say that, guys.
You forgot the deck chairs, you silly bitch.
In England, I've got to tell you guys that Britain, even in working class areas, right, was much more civilized in the 70s than it is now. Much more civilized.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, but with the Clacton election, I'm hoping we see.
No, hang on, just a minute, guys. Because this is quite important. Even and I grew up in a really working class area of London, right? It was all like warehouses, docks, and little factories and shit like that. And I've got to tell you, as a child, and if you were a woman, you were totally safe there, mate. You could wander the streets as a child, and I did because that's what kids did back then. And there were no nonces. There was nothing. The only time that you was there violence in the pubs, but only between grown adult blokes.
Were there ladies of the night down by the docks?
Oh, sometimes, yeah, for sure. But I mean, that's always been a thing around dock areas. But
right.
but if you were a normal housewife or somebody's daughter or something, you could walk around the streets at 11 o'clock at night on your own and be totally safe. There weren't rapes, there weren't stabbings, there weren't grooming gangs. And if you were a little kid and you got lost, and that happened to me when I was 5 or 6 or something, you'd go somewhere and you didn't know where you were. You could go up to any bloke in a firm, any factory or warehouse or something, and he would probably pass you over to his missus, and they'd sort you out. And this is in an absolutely working class area, but it was totally safe. If you were a woman or a girl or a little kid, you were safe. It was a much, much better world than the one we live in today. And I'm sorry, but I think that's quite important. And the reason it was safe is it was mostly indigenous white people who lived in the area. Simple as that.
I mean, growing up, I was always told, if I ever got lost, or I don't know where I was, find a policeman. And and seek help. I mean, if you did that today, you're more likely to be beaten up shoved on the ground, handcuffed, and then bleed out to death.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely true. AI, and I was told the same thing, and it was true again, even in London. And you know, the police, I've got to say, where I live, they didn't have the best reputation because you know there was quite a lot of corrupt cops around back in the day. But if you were a little kid, you could certainly go up to a cop and they'd sort you out for sure. You know.
Yeah. No, they're not.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, some places though back then, the police were taking you back to your rapist though. These little girls.
Unfortunately,
in some of these places,
well.
But all right, not so much in the 1970s, which is what I'm talking about, Tharian, because these Pakistani guys just weren't in Britain at that time. But also, they certainly weren't where I lived. I mean, I can tell you this: when Idi Amin chucked out the Uganda Asians, most of the little white corner shops got taken over by Uganda Asians, which is why, of course, Idi Amin chucked them out of Uganda because they were doing that there. But they were the only Indians that we saw for years and years and years, you know.
Anyway, with this Clacton election, though, I'm really hoping we see Nigel Farage have to like defend himself on television in like on a panel. You got like Bin Face and Henry West in his whole get up and stuff. And it's just going to make him look like such a clown. Because
exactly, it's like pure cartoon politics.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of like.
But he's got to take it seriously because he cannot afford to lose.
No, and I don't know what
if he loses, his political career is over, basically.
Well, I don't know what Gone.
I think he will also capitalize on the murder of, and that'll be the point of our next topic, but the murder of Anne Widdecombe. That's probably going to get, he'll try and, well, if you're actually honest, exploit it, but, you know, get a boost from it, you know.
I noticed he went and put flowers somewhere to pay respects to her today.
Yeah. I mean, it's we'll get onto that story in a bit, but I would expect he'll probably, and maybe not not so wrong, but he'll talk about political violence, particularly left-wing political violence in this country.
Yeah.
Can I just say to Woodpit, look, we get it that, you know, Asians, they're not Asians. That's a big insult to like the Japanese and other people in that part of the world. But that's what they're called in Britain. And what it really means is people from the Indian subcontinent. It means Indians, Pakistanis, and Bangladeshis, and people from Ceylon, I guess. But that's what they generally mean when they say an Asian in Britain. They don't really mean like Asians at all. And yes, it's an insult to those guys because, you know, basically, I don't think there are any Japanese rape gangs in Britain, you know.
I tell you what, something else that's pops up with this whole stuff. And I mean, I'll give AI credit, although AI doesn't trust anyone, like not even us, because we might be Mossad. But Connor Tomlinson, but people have been noticing like, a certain change in him, and he's become very pro Farage about everything, very pro reform.
I'm not sure I'm not sure I agree with that.
He's like putting out all these like comments saying like how like, you know, we're not allowed to stand against reform ever and all this stuff. And like
I haven't seen him say that.
No, he's put out some tweets. He's put out some tweets like, and there's like a lot of the comments.
I follow him on X.
A lot of the comments he gets on these sort of statements are people going, okay, like what's going on here, Connor? Like, because it seems like you've been
all right. Wait a minute. I know AI can't stand Connor Tomlinson. Okay, and someone in the chat saying he's a Tory boy. I don't think he is actually. And yes, he did go to Israel, and that was a foolish thing to do. It really was. because he was paid to go there by some Israeli group, and he should have realized what an idiot thing that was to do. But I don't think he's actually saying, oh, no, Restore can never run against Reform.
He is.
What I saw him do, right? If he said something else, then put it up on in here and we'll look at it. But all I saw him do was saying that, and I said exactly the same thing before he did, by the way, that Restore shouldn't run in this by-election because there was nothing to gain from it for Restore.
Well, he's sort of moved on the position that Restore should just be a pressure group for Reform.
Well, if that's
which
the
is
truth,
but that's bullshit though, because that doesn't work.
If that's the truth, Farron, then I will stop supporting him totally. If that turns out to be true,
that's basically what his position seems to have moved to, and he knows. The thing is, he knows that's bullshit.
Yeah, you can't do that. You've got to win MPs. I mean, I listen privately. Come 2028 or 2029, whichever it may be, and it'll be one of the two, I think. If Restore can get, I don't know, 15, 20 MPs, I'll be quite happy. I won't, obviously I'd like Rupert Lowe to win, but I don't think that's very likely. But if they got 20 MPs, they could do a lot to keep a Restore government honest.
Oh, only if they're needed for a coalition. Otherwise, they can just be completely ignored, and that's the problem.
Well, maybe, but all of the polling that I see is that Reform can't really win on their own at the moment.
Not even close, yeah.
And if Reform have got any sense, they'd sooner have a coalition with Restore than they would the so-called Conservatives, And there's certainly nobody else,
I mean, Nigel's looking very tired of it all at the moment.
Yeah, I don't see Nigel sticking around for too long anyway. I mean, I think he'd like to be Prime Minister.
Yeah,
but I don't see him even.
You got 3 more years. 3 more years of this to go.
Yeah. I don't see Nigel sticking around for a 5-year prime ministership at all.
No, not at all. But then, when he quits, there's going to be the civil war. There's going to be the civil war and Reform between probably Jenrick and Mohammed Yusuf, and they're both so gross. So then that's Reform.
Yes.
And then,
the next
everything's
election,
up in flux.
Yeah. Then you could get a Restore government.
Well, I think this will happen. I think this will happen before 2029.
I might, yeah. Listen, I hope you're right, Farron, because let me be very clear. I totally 100%, and if you don't believe me, look at my X account, my Twitter account. I totally support Rupert Lowe, Restore Britain. I do. I think they're our last political hope. But do I think they're going to win the next election outright? I'd love them to, but I don't think it's that likely at the moment, I've got to say.
No, as it stands now.
Well, just to come with a take about the next election, obviously there's speculation that Burnham might call an early election. Well, considering what's going on with Clacton, let's be honest, if Farage loses his seat and his and Reform implode, I think it's much more likely Burnham will call an early election because his main political threat is now gone.
Good take, mate. Good take. I think that's very likely, yeah. If Farage fucks up, and if he doesn't campaign hard enough, he could. Even if he only just wins,
that looks weak.
That makes an election more likely.
Well, because
we all know that nothing is going to get better in Britain over the next 3 years. It's not.
But the thing is, Farage has already said in his speech where he announced that he was going to trigger a by-election. He basically even said it himself that he was thinking about running off to America to run to have his little chat show with Fox News, and it's all. I don't know. I just find it all levels depressing at this point because I'm just at the stage. It's like if you want to get into politics when we have these leaders who just want to run away to America and have a little slot on Fox News. I mean,
Yeah, but what is it in common with
you
so many political leaders? It's ego, right? It's narcissism. I mean,
yeah, that's the thing, and it's like I want people. I want fanatic. I want a leader who is fanatically loyal to this country in the face of death.
100 AI, 100%. If you're an Englishman, right, what greater thing could you be? Particularly if you really wanted to change stuff. You know, I'm not talking about the guys who simply you know, to carry on the same shit system which is destroying us. But if you really wanted to change things, what greater job could you have as a British guy than being the Prime Minister? I mean, who the fuck cares about running some shitty show in America?
Yeah.
Exactly. Like when we do our history streams with Bede and then Apostolic Majesty as well, we talk about these crusading knights and these people who, you know, their prospects were poverty, incredible levels of hardship, particularly with the Teutonic Knights and Northern Crusades I covered last time. You know, but for them it is like their total dedication to the cause, to, I mean, in that case, to Christianity, to church, to their own knightly order. That's what created greatness. That's what created Prussia. That's what created would go on to create the militaristic nature of Germans and all the greatness that came from that. And same could be said as well for, you know, the other states, because that inspired many other warriors, secular knights around, which created these great figures in our history.
because you're leading for a cause, not for yourself. That's the difference there.
AI, you kindly had me on your stream about the Third Crusade, and what did we say about Richard the Lionheart? You know, the first time that the English warriors are shouting St. George as a battle cry is on the Third Crusade.
Yeah, but and exactly, and even, I mean, I know, like, you know, in this country, another sort of small story is the Bayeux Tapestry is back in Britain. It's back in England, and we talked about the, you know, and I know with Mitch and everything, the Normans, particularly when the Conquerors, and a popular figure for the English, and that is true. He's not a popular figure, but at least you could say, bloody hell, he was on the front line. He was on the front line. He didn't sit back. He didn't go.
Also, AI, I think I'm right in saying that the Bayeux Tapestry may well have been made in England anyway. Actually,
yeah, it was made in. It was made in Kent. It was made in Kent. It was made in Kent.
I thought so.
By possibly by some nuns and some weaver women from Canterbury. Yeah. So,
I mean, even in like even like the 18th and 19th centuries, you still had kings on battlefields. The age of cannon and stuff. But
yeah. I think George II was the last English king to actually command his army in person, and that was in the 1700s. So
yeah.
But also, guys, before we move on to our final topic, which is unless Aubrey has something she wants to talk about.
Nope.
Okay. Well, before we move on to our final topic, which is going to be Anne Widdecombe, I would like to get the panel to address the political leaders in Britain of the Uni Party, like, you know, the socialists and the so-called conservatives, who are really a Uni Party. And also all of the mainstream media, including supposedly serious political shows, all supporting Count Binface. This is the contempt they have for British voters. And of course, as I say, it's worth pointing out that Count Binface, all right, he's a comedy candidate, but he's also shit-lip. He doesn't run against left-wing candidates ever.
He did against Burnham.
Whatever you think,
all right, there was a lot of publicity for that.
I mean, you have these characters, right? Steve Bray, Count Binface, even to a lesser extent. I mean, I wouldn't include the Monster, because the Monster Looney Party were always just, they were like it was the electoral system they were taking the piss out of, not so
Yeah.
much, figures. But with these characters, it's a very, very, I would say, classist attack on working England, working class England. For them, they attack that group, particularly when they have grievances against the liberal order out of London. That's what they do. They attack people for criticising the liberal order. Steve Bray, right? Think about this. His whole thing was the Remain in, but he wasn't around during the referendum campaign. He became a figure after it as a way to and everything like that. And look, and this tactic, unfortunately, is it's quite common. Al Murray, he is like this a perfect example of this comedian who presents himself as like this pub landlord, sort of like Essex man-esque sort of character. But the thing though is he tries to live up to this sort of silly stereotype which mocks the English people. The same way you have like those horrific stereotypes in Hollywood where they project they make Southern Americans, particularly white Southern Americans from the southern states in the deep South, as these backward, idiotic, racist lunatics.
All these hillbillies
Which
are
they're
all
not.
married. They're all married to
Right.
their cousin, and they're all dumb as shit, and
Right.
they're all horrible. And that's absolutely, that is the way that the champagne socialists in Britain, shall we say, and also the traditional so-called Conservative Party, and the Lib Dems and the Greens. That is the way all of these fuckwits treat the British working class people. But if you really want to look at the British working class people, look at 1914. Who were all these volunteers? We did a stream a couple of weeks ago about the Battle of the Somme, with Mitch and what have you. And, all of these guys, these working class English guys, who are mostly actually really good blokes, they were the guys who all volunteered, to go get blown up by the German artillery and shot by the machine guns and caught in the barbed wire. They didn't slag off the English working class back then, though, did they?
No.
And you had people like Tolkien, for example, right, who joined the army also as a volunteer, and many of his mates, most of whom got killed, because Tolkien, luckily for him, got trench fever. But most of his mates, these middle class blokes, when they got to know their working class soldiers, they actually liked them.
There's that Kipling poem, Tommy. It's all about this. It's like no one wants to know Tommy until there's a war on. Then it's get on your boots, Tommy. Off you go and fight. Then they need him.
Yeah, this whole shit gammon thing, as Alphabet Cat says, it's just bollocks. Like I said when I was talking earlier about being in a very working class area of London in the 1970s, totally safe for women and kids. Totally safe for women and kids.
Do you know what I find really pernicious about the Count Binface is that he's being presented as a part of a British, comedic political tradition like the Monster Looney Party, but he's not. He's literally a Reddit candidate if you think about it. It's like the Reddit
100%. Yes, like Henry West is a comedy candidate in that election, but at least he's a British comedy candidate. He'll probably wear his red jacket and his white sun helmet and wave a Union Jack. Count Binface is a shitbag shitlip.
Yeah.
Ultimately, Millennial Woes talks about this, but it's like the "Have I got news for you" view of politics, or the private eye view of politics. It's all just about being a mid-wit middle class who sort of titters at and not take anything seriously.
Yeah, those stupid gammon British working class guys who don't actually like their daughters being gang raped by Pakistanis. You know, I mean, like, evil bastards. They don't want their daughters gang raped by Pakistanis. You know, you guys will remember the Scottish girl, yeah, with her axe and her knife, trying to defend her little sister.
Oh yeah, that was a great video. Bless her heart.
And it turned out, of course, that the bloke she was actually trying to defend her little sister against was, in fact, just as bad as she said he was.
And they made fun of her. They made fun of that little girl.
Yeah, they made fun of her. A little girl.
It was sick.
Her even smaller little sister. There's a lot.
And she was brave, that little girl.
Yeah.
She stood up. Like,
look, I've got to tell you, right? I joined the British Army when I was 18 years old, right? In the Queen's Regiment. And the vast majority of the soldiers were working class guys from London and the Southeast. Do you think they were bad guys? Because they weren't, I can assure you.
I mean, that's the majority of our military too, our U.S. military. You know, they're the working class guys.
It's the Southern guys, particularly.
Right.
The backbone of the U.S. military, you know?
Right. Or the guys that need to, you know, have college paid for and they're not great students or whatever. I mean, my dad, that's why he went into the military. But I mean, he also, he was really into military history and all of that anyway. It kind of had a thing for that. But you know, that he, like he said, he was like, that was my way to pay for college too. So that's yeah. You know, people can look down on those guys, but they're the ones that are going to keep us safe.
Absolutely. But Adam Cooper, what do you mean bollocks, mate? What are you saying bollocks to?
Oh, the football.
Oh, okay.
1-1. It's 1-1 at the football.
I don't give a shit about football. I don't care. In some ways, like I said, if you like white European people, you should probably support Norway, to be honest. But there we go.
That's when you support NHL hockey, and that's about it, because that's the only predominantly white sport now there is.
Rugby.
Yeah, I listen.
Rugby, I guess.
Well, yeah, rugby union used
tennis.
to be, but that's getting
tennis.
worse.
Tennis.
Tell you what, the
Swimming.
women's tennis. Sometimes in women's tennis, you get some attractive people, some attractive ladies. No other women's sport has attractive ladies.
Yeah, but you also get Serena Williams. You know,
right?
That's unfortunate.
And someone pointed out that Serena Williams looks like Chris Eubank, but whatever. You know, it's like.
How about figure skating? There's some cute girls in figure skating.
That's true.
Oh yeah, very much
cute.
So. Very much so.
Yeah.
Much so. Oh look, you know, same thing with women's
cheerleading.
Cheerleading, sure, but also
equestrian.
Not so much. But I was going to say
equestrian girls.
Oh yeah, well, you can't really tell, can you? They're wearing jodhpurs and what have you.
Whatever. Oh my god.
No,
can't look at their faces or anything.
No, I was actually gonna say, what's it called? Acrobatics, you know.
Gymnastics.
Gymnastics. That's what.
Right. Some of them have weird body shapes, though. They look very much like little, like weird, yeah. Like.
Well, yeah, but that was a thing back when they had these communist countries that used to train these girls
like
from about
Bella.
10 years old.
Yeah.
Beach volleyball, as Adam Cooper says, that's generally pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we were talking about something serious rather than just talking about women's sport, which I basically don't watch women's sport. I did watch that, they have this American football, but they wear lingerie. I did watch that for a while.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Very fun stuff.
That was quite popular in Australia for a while. They used to put it on TV at about midnight or something.
Yeah.
But but anyway, we were talking about something serious, which is that the ordinary average British working class person is not a bad person. And I will dispute with anyone who tries to claim they are, because I am a British working class person. You know, this is what I was born into. And all of my dad's mates, when I was a young bloke, they were nearly all ex-military guys. Many of them came from places like Newcastle and Glasgow, and they were salt of the earth, good blokes. And they looked after their families and their daughters and stuff like this. And you know, if you went if your girlfriend had a dad, the most nervous thing you did was when she said, "Oh yeah, you got to come and meet my family," because you had to pass the dad test. You know, back then.
As he's polishing his rifle.
Yeah. But this nonsense about gammons and all this shit really gets on my nerves. It really does, because it's not true.
Mm-hmm.
But did you, particularly you, Farron, but did anyone else have anything else to say about this Nigel Farage election? Which, yes, it's important, because if Farage loses, he's fucked. That's the end of his political career.
Which I do want to see. I really want to see that.
Well, yes and no. I don't really care. I don't want Count Binface.
Well, it's like the whole
Count Binface to win. I don't.
The problem is like with the whole, like some people talk about uniting the right. You can't do that. There can be only one, and so Nigel Farage has to die. So we can.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure.
Metaphorically speaking. Yes.
Right.
Yeah, I was just going to say, but let's be honest. A reform led by Zia Youssef or Tice, or the ex-Tory guys, that's not going to be better. Really, it's not.
No, but it's going to die. Farage is the only thing holding it together. That's the thing.
Well, maybe you might be right about that, Farian. I'm not sure. Maybe, but yes, I wouldn't vote for Count Binface. Like I said, if you really hate Farage and you're in Clacton, vote for Henry West or vote for the young chap who's actually a right wing guy. Don't vote for Binface.
I mean, odds are that Farage is going to win this.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because unless. You know, no one bothers to know. But then, like I said, then we'll have the next proper by-election come after September. So we'll be playing this out again in a few months. So we'll see then.
And then I think other parties will stand.
Yeah, they will. Yeah.
But this is back. If everyone had stood in this election, but Farage's tactic might have worked. But given no one is really. It's not going to work, you know. And look, he may be able to sort this stuff out. I don't know. And like I said, I think that if Farage was a uni-party candidate, no one would give a shit about that $5 million donation. But you know, that's just. I'm very, very dubious about most British politicians and all of the British civil service.
I mean, it's quite sad, really, how low our bribes are compared to American politicians. You can buy a British politician for £10,000. Like the American one, I don't even get out of bed. I don't get out of bed for 10,000. It's got to be at least $1 million. Come on.
Right.
And there's a certain Middle Eastern country that tends to put a lot of bribes into American politicians' pockets.
The thing is, I can forgive corruption, and corruption can be good, but only if it's people like us that's doing it. If we're being honest,
the African position. When I do corruption, it is good.
Yes, I have to be involved.
If someone wants to give me a £5 million personal gift, I'm not going to say no. Okay. Depending on what you want, though, I've got to say there are things I wouldn't do for that. But yeah. All right. I think we should move. because we've been going almost 2 hours. We should move on to the Anne Widdecombe thing. And Anne Widdecombe comes from, very roughly speaking, AI's part of the world. And I think he knows quite a lot about where she comes from and what have you. So, AI, would you like to give us what you are thinking about this at the moment?
Yeah, so what happened was, of course, the news broke yesterday that Anne Widdecombe had died at her house in near to Haytor on Dartmoor in
One
Devon.
thing before you go on, AI, Anne Widdecombe was a slightly eccentric, but generally very nice English old lady. I first time I ever noticed that she must have been in her late 60s. But
I'd say forceful. Like nice doesn't do it.
Yeah. No. Hang on. Let me finish.
Yeah.
Sorry. I think she was 78 when she was killed.
Yeah.
But she was. When I say nice, I mean like she's the sort of little old lady who would have done fetes and supported fairs and the Women's Institute and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, she didn't take bullshit. And if someone was a nasty bastard or doing something she didn't like, she'd tell them that. You know, she always reminded me a bit of my grandma. You know, but she was very forceful. She was a big time supporter of Brexit. She was very anti-tranny and all this kind of stuff, and gay marriage and what have you. I liked her. I thought she was a nice lady, and she was a little bit eccentric. But as we were saying earlier in the stream, you know, Britain's known for eccentrics. But in general terms, she was a nice lady, as far as I'm concerned, anyway. And it's just disgusting the way some people on the left are celebrating her death.
How was she killed? Do you guys know? Like, what have they released?
No.
Yeah, no. I'll get into what the sort of timeline. So what happened? And just to clarify, she never married, never had any children. She was a devout Roman Catholic.
Well, just to interject on that, AI,
she converted, didn't she?
Yes.
Yeah, she converted.
She was.
Yeah.
She was Church of England, but she converted because the Church of England ordained women priests, which I think is absolutely based of her to do.
Yeah. And a big part of her political journey was that she was very much, I would say she was like really dedicated to the idea of I guess you could say like true in the truest forms of English, I guess you say like high Toryism in some ways. She sort of projected that, and it was like fairness in law, very much like Roger Scruton in some regards, in the perception of the world. I would say though she was more of a high Tory, like probably like truest form to high Tory, and she used to go on podcasts. Like she went on a few people in the there's one chap I forgot his name now, but he is quite like in the the old BNP network, which was again quite controversial, and she even vocally spoke out against there was a one of those elderly German camp secretaries at one of those camps, who had been when they were prosecuting under like the Nuremberg laws and everything. So she really went out there in some of those things. She wasn't like your Cameronite Tory, that type. And of course she was a media personality. She went on I think it was Strictly Come Dancing and Big Brother House and
and she was funny though, AI. Like she was this little old English lady who did Come Dancing and Celebrity Big Brother and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But she was a good sport in the English sense of the word. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And when I was in the party, I never met her, but I saw her at a distance when I met well when it was the hustings for Boris Johnson and Jeremy Hunt, and there was a time when actually I met Jeremy Hunt and I saw her in the distance, and I because it was so packed, because you had journalists going up asking, I never actually got the chance to introduce myself, so which is a shame, because I would have at the time, I wasn't that politically aware of like things now, but it would have been interesting to speak to her. But of course, one of her big things that I always remember is she was very much against the legalization of same-sex marriage, but also the promotion of homosexuality towards children.
And also
Yeah,
she was anti-abortion as well.
yeah, yeah, all those things. And so, but to go back to what's happened. So on what was it on I think it was Thursday, and I'm just going to try and get this right. On Thursday at 8 o'clock in the morning, she appeared on Talk Radio, which was Mark Dolan's slot. And what had happened is she'd been on there. She was talking about what we were talking about previously, about the stuff around Nigel Farage and the money and all that. And she was meant to appear on Channel 5 at 12:30 or there and thereabouts, and later Sky to talk about the same thing. But when they sent the Zoom call, the Zoom link out, she didn't join. They tried to send her email and even a message to her, no response. What the police have confirmed is between that morning, between the end of her talk radio and 12:30, it looks like she was murdered in her house. Her body, she was found 24 hours later, on the yesterday, which is when the news broke. And like many of us, I just assumed that she died of natural causes. I thought that maybe she had an illness and just died and passed away of natural causes. And then it, of course, broke that the police were treating it as suspicious. And unfortunately, Ian Dale, who released information which I don't think he should have done. I don't think he. I don't know how he got that information, but he managed to release some information describing of what happened. That basically she was found head to toe covered in blood and was basically bludgeoned.
Bless her heart.
And the announced then shortly later on yesterday afternoon that a 26-year-old man from Newton Abbot, so that this was it's about a 30-minute drive down the road from where she was, had been arrested, and they immediately said that it was a white male British which I thought was kind of a weird phraseology, but we'll get back to that in a minute, because there is actually they said a 26-year-old man had been arrested for her murder. He was being questioned, and of course in this country they have they can hold them for 24 hours, and then they can extend it, get a warrant to gather more evidence before they can do a charge. But this is where it gets really bizarre. This morning, it was announced that the man who was arrested was released without and is no longer part of the investigation. I.e., I would believe this is now. I think whoever this chap was from Newton Abbot, I would suggest he probably was able to prove or provide like an absolute strong alibi, which showed that he couldn't have been in the area at the time, or he had something like that. And so this then led to really what I've seen today. Many theories go on, because one thing they said yesterday was there was no political motive. There doesn't appear to be any
Hmm.
political motive by this, which is
Right.
bizarre, because what's the likelihood?
AI,
Yeah,
look, I think it's very clear that the first thing the British police said, as they always do when they could do it, is this was a white British guy, right? First thing they said. Because, always, it's never diversity's fault, okay? This has now gone out the window, of course, because, as you rightly say, this bloke must have had the best alibi there's ever been, because they would have held on to him otherwise.
He might have just been some hiker or something in the area.
Exactly. Yeah.
And,
yeah.
and police
Yeah.
thought, because it's going to be, it's going to be a younger person.
Oh
'cause
look,
people
he
don't
might
do
have
this.
he might have walked up to her house and asked to use an outside tap to fill his water bottle. It could have been something as simple as that.
I know, but it's going to be a younger
yeah.
person. It's going to be an older area, so it's just of a young white guy. Let's get him, everyone. And that's kind of
Yeah.
But
because
he must have had a damn secure
Yeah.
alibi, because the police, as AI just said, let him go sooner than they had to. So
Yeah.
there's no chance he's involved in this, basically.
Yeah. And so now it's like the police very quickly said yesterday, because again, this is bad policing. If you want to look at actually fundamentally of bad policing, number one is you don't rule out anything. If the press asks you, is it politically motivated, they should have said, effectively, we're exploring all options at this time. This is an ongoing investigation, and just shut it down from there. But the thing is, for them to come out and say there was no political motive, just straight out no political motive. Now, with that, the main suspect, who is now no longer a suspect, it now comes back to the most obvious thing is, well, this has to be political. Because the very simple reason is, what is the likelihood that somebody breaks into,
random break-in.
a random break-in, and then murders
The
Anne
resident,
Widdecombe, resident, who happens to be Anne Widdecombe. And also, this is another thing, this is something that Morgoth talked about yesterday on this. Sorry, I think it was, sorry, I think it was this morning, actually. There is something rather dark all about this, because David Amos, who was another conservative Tory type, who again, I think he was, I think he may have been Roman Catholic or something, but again, he was a very religious figure, and also somewhat, eccentric and what have you. But she also, she have you noticed that like they're not, whenever they have these people who are targeted, who were these conservative types, it's never, it's not George Osborne, it's not the Cameronites, it's always people who are just normal traditionalists in some ways. I mean, they're Tories and everything else, but
AI, can I ask you, because I know you know the village that she lived in, is what Sensible Centre says here true?
About you know what,
it's the village of Haytor that she was.
Yeah,
I think she called her house Widdecombe's Rest. It's not like an actual.
Right,
I don't think it's an actual place.
But also to reply to Woodpit in the chat, she would have had a number, I suspect, of cameras. A number.
Yeah, I would. I mean, there are several villages in that area, which, because Haytor is actually the tallest. There's several villages in that area, but the where she lived, it was quite a well. I don't know if they actually changed the name, but the place itself was quite well known, and she lived there for about, I think, 30 plus years. So she was known in the area because her parents came from that area as well. She was the MEP for the Southwest when she residing there. And
That
the thing
was when she gave that superb speech to the European Parliament when we finally got Brexit, and she said, "We're out of here." It was cool. I liked it. Very good.
Yeah, it was that speech, and listen, she the back of her property. Yeah,
this is it.
The back of the property. So if you see the road to the right on the screen there, you see that road. You go up there. That goes there. You'll see a footpath. There it is on the right. Hold on. There's that one.
Yeah.
If you go back, okay, that takes you. That will take you down onto the national park. And the thing new is, and this is not me. Like, I don't want to speculate on this. But the assumption is that the person who broke in came via the village from the bottom there. It's and they probably picked up that guy yesterday because there were cameras who picked him up and thought, oh, he's no one knows him in the village. He may have been acting, like hanging around on the benches around there and all that sort of stuff. Oh, it must be him. But
yeah, it's a weird though. That doesn't happen here, does it? Like brutal murder.
I think what makes it worse
was anything stolen? Was anything stolen?
They haven't said.
We don't know because we don't know.
No,
because
they have just announced that nothing was stolen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes it. Yeah.
So this sounds like an assassination of some sort, doesn't it?
Well, this was this wasn't a robbery gone wrong. This was a murder, and this was preemptive. It was planned by the looks of it.
Well, I mean, after they released the guy, the police put out the saying that we will not be releasing any CCTV footage, and we will not be giving any descriptions of potential suspects.
What normally does that mean in Britain? That normally means it's not a white guy.
Yeah, Shabama Mahmood asked people not to speculate as well. Okay.
Yeah. When the British police say we're not releasing any information, that is almost invariably it's not a white bloke.
Do you get the impression?
Sorry. Just to finish on my sort of monologue here and on the final point here. I spoke to Iron Duke a few weeks ago, so we were talking about off camera, we were talking about Exeter and Plymouth. In Exeter, particularly because it's like these university cities, but particularly in Exeter, there is a uptick, and there has been in the last 5, 6 years, an uptick in left-wing organisation, particularly like Antifa, similar to what you see in Bristol and other places, in Manchester and stuff like that. And these people, these left-wing groups, they are, they're utilised by the state to attack the British public, but more so, they are radicalised Marxists, and they are incredibly violent. They do not distinguish between anything wrong with using violence to achieving their own political goals. They are radicalised, and they're incredibly violent. Now, we obviously don't know who is behind it, but there is like you see in America, and you're going to be seeing it here, unfortunately. There are institutionalized indifference to left-wing political violence. Right-wing political violence barely exists, apart from like the lone wolfman, the lone wolf figure, because there are so many. Hold on. There's so many institutional barriers to prevent that sort of organisation taking place. There's very few left, but left-wing violence is perfectly legitimised. It's normalised in this country, and it's largely welcomed by many in the political and social classes. Unfortunately,
AI, have you been watching the hearings on Charlie Kirk's murderer in America?
I've seen a few. I've not been watching the hearings, but I've seen like roundups, like I guess like the odd commentator.
All right.
On
Well, I've watched a couple of the actual hearings, and yeah, I've been watching roundups too. But the point is that the Candace Owens is a twat. All right, nothing she's been saying is true at all. This dude,
I never believed.
No,
yeah, I never believed it.
I didn't
believed
either.
it.
No, I didn't either. But also, the guy who probably did kill Charlie Kirk, and I think there's easily enough evidence to take him to trial. The reason he hated Charlie Kirk was because he had a relationship with he was gay and had a relationship with a tranny, which means he's gay, of course, because that means you're having a relationship with another man who's pretending to be a woman. I think there's some chance that this might be similar with Anne Widdecombe, to be honest.
Because if you look,
she was absolutely against that stuff. She hated it.
I mean, she was hated by the quote unquote gay LGBT community. I mean, you just have to look at Peter Tatchell, that nasty. Well, I won't use
the gay Australian who, as a Lib Dem, I believe, replaced the Labour Party where I used to live. Believe it or not.
Yeah. And there is look, it wouldn't surprise me if it wasn't one of those. If it wasn't one of those, and that's why they won't show the CCTV. They won't. And what makes it? Do I think they would cover it up? The Home Office and the police force down there would cover it up. So
absolutely,
it
if they could, if they could, they would.
It's going to be. It's tricky with such a public figure, though.
They did it with Amos. They did it with Amos.
True,
when he was murdered, it all became about like fucking Jess Phillips' safety online. When fucking Jo Cox was murdered, right? When she was murdered, the whole country came to a stop.
Yeah,
we were reminded about it.
Yeah, but let's remember Sir Keir Starmer, supposedly married to a Jewish woman, but Ukrainian rent boys. Do the British mainstream media ever talk about these Ukrainian rent boys?
Well, that was all Putin, you see. They decided
who
that.
were setting fire to his car and somewhere where he lived and all the rest of it. Why did Sir Keir Starmer know Ukrainian rent boys? I mean, who could possibly think Sir Keir Starmer was gay? I mean, come on.
The BBC told us that Putin arranged this all.
Yeah, right. And if you believe that, I've got a giant bridge in London to sell you.
Well, it's not just the rent boys. It's specifically the Ukrainian really makes you think.
Yes, it does, doesn't it, Mercy?
But it's also interesting that Starmer expressed an interest in being the next NATO Secretary General. It's clear that he wants to procure the supply of more Ukrainian rent boys.
Well, I mean, and also, Sir Keir Starmer, who has allowed the British Armed Forces to be totally destroyed, basically, and particularly the Royal Navy, the one thing he really cares about is rearming Ukraine. It's the only thing he cares about, actually. Like, he's given them half-hour missiles, and guns and tanks, etc.
Just half?
Well, even more, actually.
Yeah.
But the point is, like, I think everyone with half a working brain knows that Sir Keir Starmer is married as a cover because he's a gay guy. And you can see he's a gay guy. I mean, I watched him trying to do boxing once, and just the way he even tries to punch a punching bag.
Would being gay stop you getting elected in this day and age? Is that something you
yeah, to some degree.
It It would probably be like a few percentage off, and that's all that it takes.
Well, just think about this.
Exactly. We've been talking about Mercy, and we've been talking about the based working class people on this stream. They're not going to vote for you if you're a gay guy.
Well, I suppose, I just get the impression that 99% of the Labour voters wouldn't have cared. I mean, maybe I'm wrong on that. I don't know.
Yeah, a lot of traditional Labour voters are pretty traditional in terms of like socially traditional.
Well, if you look at the Labour vote, I mean, apart from like the Muslim, the Muslim contingent, you have your inner city black who tend to be
they don't
quite
give
anti-gay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when it comes down to it, I mean, like the educated Labour activists who went to Cambridge,
they'll
Oxford,
be happy you're gay.
Yeah, they wouldn't care. But anywhere else, no.
But your red wall areas, they're not so keen on that stuff.
It leads an interesting question, because if he's clever enough to know that he should cover up the fact he's gay,
which is why he was.
Why do Labour do half the things they do to for their voter base then?
Well, listen, does anyone really think that Annie Burnham's going to do anything that's not totally pro-gay, pro-LGBTQ, pro-Muslim, pro-etc.? But it seemed to have fooled the Labour voters in that seat. So,
There is a bit of news update, by the way, on the case. Apparently, Reform UK have handed over to the police emails. Been going to hand over emails which are correspondence, particularly from members of the public who may have sent threats to Anne Widdecombe as well. So, obviously now, basically, by the sounds of that, the police are treating it as a politically motivated.
Yeah,
I would
which it
suggest
obviously
it.
was.
I think that's which it obviously was, and we knew. I mean, we all knew that yesterday.
I was going to make this point earlier, but I don't know what you've talked about on this thus far. But do you get the feeling that they're not going to solve this crime on that they just don't want to solve it, and they're too incompetent anyway?
Well, it's
I would say
that.
I would agree.
Sorry, Bede, carry on, mate.
It's interesting you say that, Mercian, because you might be able to confirm this, but someone said this on X, and I've heard it before, that because it's in the southwest, it's Devon and Cornwall police, and from what I've heard, they're one of the worst police forces in the country. Like, they're really incompetent.
Yeah, they used to be one of the best. They used to be one of the best when it came to this, but because of modern policing, i.e., anybody going to CID and everything, they actually are one of the worst when it comes to this. They've had to bring in, from my understanding from the reporting, metropolitan police to support them on this. They've had to bring in CID units from outside. It's because they are, this is the trouble. You think about the murder scene, the crime scene, effectively, because they became hyper focused on this one individual, they have to now go back to like the first step. But the crime scene now has been contaminated with a number of people going back and forth,
and they've wasted, like, I don't know, 36 hours probably.
Yeah, they wasted 36 hours.
I just get the impression that if we funded a private investigator and they fingered the guy who actually did it, I just get the feeling that guy wouldn't be arrested. I've just got a feeling. Unless they're white, of course.
Well, if they're white, but I think they'd have to be white and straight, to be honest with you, Mercy. If they're white and not straight, they're not going to be keen to arrest that person.
It's got to be Steve Laws. Then they'd accept it.
Oh yeah, if it's you, Ferium or me or Steve Laws or Morgoth or Mercian or AI, they'll come and arrest us, but of course it's not any of us. But
I mean, I will lift because unfortunately this has caused a Charlie Kirk level conspiracy of who did it. Now, because I mentioned, that there's been the obvious, like it was someone like radical left winger one, which I think is quite a reasonable one. You then have the other ones, which are, it was actually people because of the story involving the dodgy finance and organized crime elements. It could be related to that. That's one theory that's been put out. Another theory, which is that it was someone in Restore, which I just think is completely mad. But again, doesn't make any sense, that one.
That's completely fucking ridiculous, AI. For God's sake.
I saw,
yeah.
But then, but there's the narrative that Restore are all a bunch of lunatics. So that's why they'd like that.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know any fellow Restore supporter, and I am 100% a Restore supporter. I don't know anyone who supports Restore Britain who had anything much against Alan Whitaker. No, nobody.
No. Well, obviously they didn't. There is no one. Of course, there's the usual that Mossad did it. I have seen that.
We can't ever rule it out, though.
That's always possible. Every time you see a vile murder, Mossad could be behind it because they're a very nasty organization. But
yeah. The other one that actually is that it was somebody close to her, somebody who knew her, and it may have just been
personal stuff.
A personal stuff, which again,
but given she was she was what do they call an unmarried woman? She was a spinster, right?
Spinster,
yeah. I doubt it, to be honest. Like, I don't think there was a love triangle with.
I mean, did she?
She was also 78. I mean, give me a break.
Well, how many violent young men did she know?
Probably not many.
Right? Yeah, I don't think that's her social circle.
Yeah. No, look. She was a spinster. Yes. She was a little bit eccentric. Yes. But she was 78 years old, right? I don't think there's some love triangle going on here in the background. I really don't.
Well, do you know who I think the police should look at? Is whoever was the person who contacted them about the original suspect. That's the person I'd be looking at.
Well, yeah, we don't know why the police went after this person, do we?
No, because obviously I would say, yeah.
Yeah, because you just picked this guy out. I don't know, and he's clearly, obviously, nothing to do with it. So what was their thinking there?
Well, see, I was playing through in my mind today, and just put it in chat. Whoever did it knew that she had a caregiver, and the caregiver wouldn't be there at that particular time, had just gone. They also knew that she was on talk radio, and that's what time she was roughly going to finish. So,
some planning,
and they wouldn't be disturbed, and they'd be able to get away and all that sort of stuff. It's
also like suggests I mean, the caregiver stuff suggests a bit more local knowledge. Like, I mean, I had no idea about that sort of stuff. You've been watching her a bit, who comes and goes.
The thing there is, again, a lot of the caregivers, particularly ones that travel, you do get foreign ones. But the thing there is, I'd hope, this is my hope, I hope the police would have interviewed, questioned, and even looked into the caregiver to make sure, because of course that would be the most, obvious one, I guess you could say. But you never know. I imagine they have. But the thing there is, as Woodput said, I think this one, it may actually be like a Jill Dando version. I think this could be a Jill Dando moment, to be honest.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
We'll
that's
see.
never been worked out, but it was almost certainly it was almost certainly something she was investigating. They didn't want people to know about, but yeah.
Yeah.
Was it what was the name of that Conservative guy that got stabbed? Was it David Ames? Was it?
Yeah.
David Amos. Yeah.
Yeah. I just wonder how much of it's as close to that at all. Mind you, nothing really changed after that. Did apart from someone got stabbed, we should be scared of white people now.
But what doesn't make sense though is that David Amos was an MP, and what I'm trying to say is, I can understand some lunatic or some violent left-wing nutter targeting a politician as like an MP or something, but she was retired. She was, she was in reform, but she was basically, she just had like a regular radio spot. She wasn't exactly like front and center in politics.
But you know what these people are like. I think you're thinking a
Yeah.
bit too logically for them.
But yeah, but I mean, she was very anti-LGBTQ. She was very anti-gay marriage. She was anti-abortion. That's going to give you a lot of nutty shitlibs who might think it was worth killing. I mean, listen, how far away is the nearest big town AI from her village?
Exeter's probably about 20-minute drive, 15-20-minute drive, so it's not that far.
Exeter's not exactly a big place, is it? I've been to Exeter. It's a market. It's a market town kind of thing, isn't it?
With all the new builds, it's somewhat big, but it's a very university orientated place. There's a lot of lefties there. I will be honest. There's a lot of lefty.
So there's a university there, is there? Okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
right.
There's university. There's a lot of lefties. There's a lot of militant left wing. Same in Plymouth too, but particularly with Exeter, there is quite a lot of militancy there. If I was to guess,
would I be right in saying that Exeter is a bit smaller than Plymouth?
It is a bit smaller than Plymouth, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That would be correct.
So.
Yeah,
fair enough.
Yeah, Plymouth. I mean, Plymouth has its own militant, sort of university-esque leftism there. But I mean, with Exeter particularly, I wouldn't. I would say it's. I would agree with Woodpit. I would expect it's someone from, who would be who would view her as like the mortal enemy and all that sort of stuff.
You see, I'd say it would be a random diversity, in air quotes, person, brown or black. But
is that what you're saying?
There was no robbery, which makes me think it wasn't, because that's what those.
But also, they don't plan. I mean, without being more about it,
they don't plan anything.
They don't plan. No, they would just go in there. They would do it publicly. They wouldn't give a damn, and it would be awful. It'd be like they haven't got the capacity.
And they steal things because they're dumb.
The closest big city, if you want to think of a big city, is probably Bristol, about 2 hours away.
Well, we know what a shithole that is. So I lived there.
I mean, that'd be Bristol. I mean, if I'm absolutely honest, though, for someone, it would have to be someone relatively local to the area. Relatively
you've got to be area. You've got to be able to find her, of course, to start with. So
I think that would be pretty simple. I think you could find that reasonably easily.
I don't think her address was public, though, Sarah.
But it should be easy enough to find out. Sure. I mean, mind you, going back to Ukrainian rent boys, Keir Starmer's address, his actual address isn't.
Yeah, but we all know what went on there for him. Sorry, Mercy. And that's Sir Keir Starmer being a gay guy. and like we know this from his Pakistani friends and all sorts of things, but none of the British mainstream media have ever really reported on that. So, but AI, what do you think? Because I know you know this area pretty well. She would have probably had a camera looking at her front and her back doors, don't you think?
Yeah,
They've
I
got
mean,
the CCTV.
there's a pub down the road which has CCTV. There
Well,
is
there you go.
cameras at her bit, and there's also a lot of people. I mean, I'm going to be honest. There has been in the past a lot of Jippo problems down that way, so a lot of people have doorbell
camera.
and house cameras
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah.
So if I was to guess, I reckon somebody else probably appeared on the CCTV that the police were ignored, and they've basically pulled like another Henry Novak. You know, like they're probably
you're not stabbed. I don't believe you, mate.
I tell you, this will turn into conspiracy theory. This will turn into an Epstein didn't kill himself meme soon. You know, like
I don't think it will, Mercy. And I think the cops are going to have to try and solve this. Actually,
I mean, we know they've got CCTV image of who they think the suspect is.
Yeah, because then they've
said they've got it. They're not
going to release it though.
Because I mean, heavens forbid the public be on the lookout for their suspects.
Yeah, you shouldn't really try and find the murderer of this poor little old lady.
This is exactly what happens with an Epstein didn't kill himself scenario, where there's a lot of, you know, searing going on.
Mercy, does anyone think Epstein killed himself? Really? I mean, I don't think anyone believes that.
It wouldn't surprise me that the police probably even questioned at the time, like a couple of days ago, the person they thought
and then
let him go, exactly, and then focus on this poor other guy from Newton Abbot.
Because if we can only make this a straight white man, this will be so much better for us, you know. Because they don't really care about solving the crime. They just don't want people to get upset about it. Because
at this point, if
we are getting this shit every week or 2 weeks now.
Yeah,
the police. Yeah.
At this point, I live in fear because, like, if someone wanted to frame the average straight white man, I genuinely don't think that they would cross-examine that. Not even in the courts.
You would have to have some evidence. Like, if you can say, if you've got,
you would, but you could get a very diverse in air quotes, Tharium jury, and they wouldn't give a shit.
Yeah,
I just think it'd be so easy to frame someone this day and age. I mean, we don't know that's not already happening on a scale that we would dread to think of. I assume.
But let's be clear about this.
Guys, we got some breaking news. A 28-year-old man from South Yorkshire has been arrested on suspicion of her murder.
South Yorkshire. That's a bit
South
away.
Yorkshire.
That's a bit of a drive, isn't it?
That's a long way from Devon, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think if you think about it, that confirms the idea that it was premeditated, because obviously he's driven all that way in order to do the deed.
Yeah.
And also, it's South Yorkshire now. I mean,
for anyone who doesn't know England, guys, right? There are very few places in England that are further apart than South Yorkshire and Devon.
What was that? It's like a 7-8 hour drive.
Seven hours.
Yeah.
7 hours. Yeah, absolutely 7 hours. Yeah.
There you go.
That's just come through now. So that's fresh off the press. That.
Well, to address Woodpear says a white British man, so yeah, they've specified the race.
They haven't specified the sexuality, though, we noticed. But yeah, let's see.
I reckon he was framed. There you go. Pushed on the conspiracy theories.
It's actually Morgoth. It's Morgoth who's they've arrested. Yeah.
No, Morgoth is north of South Yorkshire, actually, and
apparently,
also, yeah.
Sorry, apparently counter-terrorism officers have been involved in this as well.
Isn't
after
it
they
funny?
totally ruled it out.
Yeah, but isn't it funny, right? That whenever like an English person is killed,
Yeah.
There's almost no counterterrorism, you know. No, they were mentally ill or whatever. But if it's a white guy, counterterrorism got straight in there.
I mean, this is. I mean, what would they do if this person also like had a strong alibi and it's like, I mean, then it gets the.
Well, that will just look even more ridiculous,
Yeah,
won't it?
it was just on like a hiking holiday in southwestern. Yeah,
but why would some random hiker kill this little?
Well, no,
old
that's
lady?
that's what AI is saying. This is another innocent person who they've just gone and nabbed.
Why would a random hiker kill a little old lady? They don't tend to do that.
No, they don't.
They tend to be like looking at the scenery and the hills and the animals and all this shit, you know.
Well, maybe after that 7-hour drive, he was a bit. I've got to take my frustrations out on someone.
Yeah, let me find a 78-year-old little old lady and bludgeon her to death. This is just bullshit, you know. It's not. Yeah.
Well, if it is this guy, I mean, he could still be like some lefty shit.
Yeah,
I mean,
he could be a lefty shit-lived tranny lover or something.
He could
absolutely, yeah.
He could be, and I mean, he's 20-year-old from South Yorkshire. I mean, he could be any of such thing, and
but it could also be bullshit. Anyway,
it could.
There was one case I remember. I can't remember what it was, but I remember the police going through multiple suspects, all of them, all turning out to be innocent.
Except the poor nurse, with the babies, because it was definitely even though they had raw sewage coming out in the premature baby unit. Nah, it was that one. Sure, okay.
Well, if this one turns out to be a red herring, honestly, the conspiracy theories are never going to end with this one.
No.
Yeah.
Like I said, guys, I don't believe there isn't film of this person.
There is.
Yeah,
there is. We know there is. But
be. Why don't the cops release it? There must be a reason.
Yeah.
And the only time they don't release it is if it's not a white guy.
Convenient.
If it's not a straight white guy. If it's a straight white guy, they'll release it immediately. But if it's like a tranny or any sort of so-called diversity, then they won't release it. And we know this. We've just seen it a million times.
I mean, South Yorkshire seem pretty. They're going to put a statement out tomorrow on the investigation and the arrest. So they seem to be convinced it's this guy. So the thing is, a lot of people on here are saying that they think it may be a tranny or some non-binary loony.
Possibly.
Yeah, so
very
likely.
She was very anti that stuff, so yeah, very possible. But you don't go from South Yorkshire to Devon, which is like a 7-hour drive, unless you have a real reason to go there. You know what I mean?
I mean, you could. I mean, yeah, if this was some innocent person just on holiday in the area.
Yeah. No. I'm not saying that, Farron. I don't trust the British police as far as I could throw them in my left hand. But if you are a criminal, you don't go from South Yorkshire to Devon for no reason. You know what I mean? Loads of people go from South Yorkshire to Devon or from Devon to South Yorkshire to go look at the scenery and stuff like that. But you don't go murder a 70-year-old lady.
No.
You know, randomly. Like, there has to be a reason you would do that.
Yeah.
And I'm utterly convinced that they must have film of this person. They really must. I don't believe they wouldn't.
Do you think just utter speculation that someone locally tipped off this person? Perhaps they met online, like we do, for example.
Like some one of the locals at the university or something.
Yeah,
Get some.
Oh yeah, that's entirely possible. Yes.
No, it's like with the Charlie Kirk thing.
Yeah.
They think people like talking about this on Discords and stuff. And some of them knew ahead of time, some of these people.
Yeah, for sure. Although it's not right-wing dudes that do that like us, it's left-wing people that do that. But yeah, all right, that's possible. But yeah,
it's just saying man. It's not saying white man here. The new arrested guy.
I mean, it's probably a 28-year-old girl that transitioned to quote unquote being a man.
That's entirely possible. Yes, it is.
There was that one school shooter who that was the case.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
Yeah, it's entirely possible, guys. We all know, right? If they can blame it on a white person, they will. But if it's got anything to do with like trannies or anything like that, they'll try and avoid any reference to that, because that's the world we live in. Because trannies are good and we're all bad people. So
yeah. I mean, whoever it was must, because Anne Widdecombe only ever really went on talk radio, like frequently. So it would have been someone who regularly would have probably listened to talk radio. And look, again, if Rupert Lowe and Farage and all these people, now is the time they need to be coming out united as well, and start condemning left-wing violence, because left-wing violence is out of control. And
100.
And the thing is, if they continue, people on the right there'll be people on the right who will get so,
don't say it.
I know they'll get despondent, and they'll do what they'll just replicate, and no one wants that. And that's and what makes it worse is she actually was like this matriarchal figure, but for many like conservatives, but she was also very much had this sort of ethos of like the pre-Blair years. Of old Britain, and to be murdered in a very picturesque village, English village on Dartmoor. I mean, it's.
I mean, she was.
Just it's beyond.
It's grotesque.
It's like it's like in Rome, like the rape of the what was it? What was it, Lucia, or the
Saved by Women.
Yeah, that's right. It's on a symbolic level, because it is like the rot and the scum of New Britain killing off Old Britain, and I mean, the thing is like, if this has to and I don't want to hear any reform, restore person, or any of these people. I mean, okay, I get it. You fuckers are grifters.
Woodpit, I'm pretty sure she did support Restore Britain, actually. But okay,
she was a member. Yes, she was a member of Restore before it became a party, when it was the movement. She was, and she was quite friendly with Lowe and everything. Yeah, she was. Yeah, she was really friendly, and as I say, what's happened here is you're going to have now, like, that you're going to have like the whole media spin on this of literally don't look back in anger,
Yeah.
and all that, and it's going to be like, no, we need to talk about this left-wing political violence. And Labour, anytime you criticise a Labour MP, anytime there's any criticism of a female Labour MP, they always wheel out
You're
the
a
rotting.
misogynist.
Well, no, they always wheel out the rotting corpse of
Jess
Phillips,
and Cox and co. And it's like, well, yeah, you've had that. Now we talk about left-wing violence. How many riots, how many left-wing mobs and Islamist mobs and foreign national mobs do we see roam around cities on a regular basis? Constantly, exactly.
It's just mental health problems. Go easy on them, AI.
AI at the start of this stream, right? Farian put up, because Morocco lost to France, there was a big riot in London. Because for some reason that I don't understand, there are loads of Moroccans in London. It's just shit. Like, none of these people should be here. I will say this, and listen, I used to be a big Unite the Right guy. Not sure you can ever do it. But Nigel Farage and Rupert Lowe have both done stuff saying how much they like Anne Widdecombe. So maybe.
I mean, it would be good if, like you're saying, AI, if people can actually use this. Because unlike with the Charlie Kirk stuff, you had a lot of people saying, "Oh, this is it." Nothing, absolutely nothing happened with that, right?
Yeah.
So hopefully we can get something from this at least.
Well, Charlie Kirk's wife fucked up his organization, but Candace Owens just told huge lies.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, and the thing is, she was massively criticised even by the Brexit Party, because I mentioned this, she was defending on media on LBC a 97-year-old at the time in 2019, a 97-year-old concentration camp guard who was on trial in Germany, and she argued on radio that the prosecution lacks proportionality because the guard was only 17-year-old at the time, and she said effectively,
and it was 90 years ago, for fuck's sake. But
and also she raised, like, what was he to do? The Nazi Party was the governing body of the state.
That's not the best example, AI, I've got to say, but okay.
But no, Duke, no, come on, let's not do this. You know what I mean. She was not beholden. Yeah, she was not beholden to these stupid, sort of naive liberal pretenses of the world. She was able to look at reality and actually be, and not even if it was the most controversial. I mean, let's be honest, that particular subject is the ultimate Western taboo, and she was able to have a sensible, proportionate view on it.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, mate. But I've also had people saying to me on X, "Oh, yeah, she was quite a nice old lady, but she wasn't based. She was a Thatcherite," and and maybe she was. Okay, I used to be a Thatcherite, like 50 years ago, or 40 years ago. But give me a break, guys. All right.
Yeah.
You've
got to get real about these things.
Well, what is base? What is base now? Everyone, because I mean, base was a thing that we would say where you weren't like a normie. Okay, you weren't like a Cameronite. You weren't this. You weren't that. What does it even mean now?
I'm not sure.
Based on the JQ? Is it based on what, the Muslim question? Is it based on the elite question? Like, what does it mean? I don't know.
I don't know. I kind of get the JQ thing. No, I don't go full on it. You guys know I don't, but yes, there is some truth in that. There absolutely is. The Muslim thing, if all you talk about is counter jihad, then there's a problem, because you know what? All these Africans and West Indians coming into Britain are equally bad. Okay, they're not any better, really. I know some people don't agree with that.
But she understood. Look. At the end of the day, she understood how different groups, foreign and those foreign nationals internally here in the UK, would influence their power. She understood that, as the examples I've given, because she saw, that's why she'd go out to defend. And the thing, she understood that. Now, look, was her economic policy Thatcherite? Yes, it was, because she was in the Conservative Party. But her thing, though, is she wasn't an economist. She never really cared about the economy. She always liked to talk about the social stuff, like gay marriage, like Christianity, like the role of Christianity in society. That was her thing. She wasn't like an econ person. She didn't talk about the econ.
I mean,
yeah,
and I think you're the same. Like, I don't really care so much about the economic stuff compared to, well, can we survive as a people? Yeah, if we have to go down the route of full communism to save our people, okay, that's fine.
But the thing is, econ stuff doesn't even. I mean, look, we all lived through COVID. All of us lived through COVID. We all saw that every world government effectively shut down the economic structure of our societies overnight. Everyone was furloughed near enough. So it's like, if you're still talking about it now, like your free market this or something like that, like it's not even real. It's not even fucking real at this point. So it does. It doesn't matter now. It just doesn't matter.
Well, just to add a point, AI. I mean, look, there's plenty of people on the right whose economic views are somewhat Thatcherite, but what matters is what their obviously social and cultural views. I mean, look at Rupert Lowe. I mean, Rupert Lowe's a Randian, but yet he has all the right positions on immigration and on crime, etc. I mean, what you don't want is people like like a Boris Johnson, where he's all for all of the economic Thatcherite, but he's also for a load of other gay crap as well, and that's the problem.
Yeah, when it's the GDP worship, the GDP worship sort of open market.
Yeah, exactly, and I never got that from her at all. I mean, she never was like a GDP worshipper in that sense, like in the sort of pure Cameronite sense. I mean, she did back. I think she backed back in 2002 Ken Clark. But remember, Ken Clark presents himself very differently than we remember him to this day, because that's what they do. But then, of course, she went on her own political journey, and of course, she left the Conservative Party, and she felt betrayed under Boris with the Brexit deal, which which it was, and that was it.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Have we lost Iron Duke?
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Right, yeah, I can hear you. Yeah. Okay.
All right, we may have lost Iron Duke, I don't know.
He can mute and unmute himself, but he can't seem to hear him.
I heard a ding.
Anyway.
I heard a
ding.
I
heard that. I thought that was me. No, I guess not. Yeah, it's like, she was like a woman of her she was born in the 40s, and she kind of had those values of the 40s, really.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree to that, and yeah,
and like the whole like complaining about Thatcherite stuff. I mean, for the time when it sort of came about, it was probably the right thing. But it's what they needed at that time, when you just had these unions not allowing anything to happen. And it's like I get like I get the problems with it that they maybe should have seen coming from it, but I know. But it's not. I'm not going to hold like any of the people at the time like really to blame for that.
Exactly, and also I think there's also a moral element as well, because there was a clip that was going around because she did this like documentary where she was talking to this like unemployed guy who was just grifting off benefits, and she called him like a coward to his face.
Yeah,
which I thought was quite nice.
that's a definition of base OGB. Yeah, because the thing that for me, I think what I think would describe as based is, there are certain things in society, particularly in the Blairite years when we were growing up, that was seen as like as something that we like. This is the direction the country's going in. This is what we all should believe in. And Peter Hitchens was like one of the people who for him, it was the big thing. Him and his brother, it was against like the ridiculous response to the death of Princess Diana. That's one. I think for her, you had like this inevitable astroturfing of civil partnerships and then same-sex marriage and normalizing homosexuality in schools and everything, and in society, and using pop culture and the media to effectively indoctrinate it or normalize it on that level. And she would be present and oppose it, and unashamedly, even with all the liberal guilt trick techniques that were used against it, it would sort of deflect off her. It just wouldn't. She just wouldn't register with her, and she just. And I think that's why she was. I mean, you forget. I don't know how old you guys are, because she was, particularly my parents at the time, who were Conservative Party voters at the time. She was very popular among the Conservative voting base. She was a very popular figure, and very well respected.
Yeah. Yeah, it's it's a shame, really. Like, she was just a shame, really. If she was like one of those people who, like you're saying about the base stuff, it's like you tell people you have no power over me, kind of.
Yeah, it's, sort of I mean, this was what Bowden was getting at as well when he said, when the famous thing where he was saying, the right needs to have this spirit of where we don't internalize guilt, and that we say we're not sorry, and he screams it out, we're not sorry for our past and everything. And I don't know if it's a generational thing that was like after people born after the war, and then generations after the war, that this became a thing. But for her, particularly born in the 40s, they say she has no. There's no guilt there.
No.
Or why is there to? And bear in mind, she's a Roman Catholic, and of course, Catholics have this. There's always that joke that they have that inbuilt guilt complex anyway. But not for that. You're not sorry for what you are.
Converted Roman Catholic.
Yeah. Well, yes, converted. Welcome back, I'm Duke. You're converted.
Yeah, I'm sorry. My microphone was fucking up. I beg your pardon. But yeah, Anne Widdecombe was a Church of England lady, but when they brought in female priests, she just couldn't deal with that, and she said, "No, all right." That's when she converted to Catholicism. But when I got married in a High Church of England church, and no High Church of England vicar believes in female priests either. So
well,
there is
I mean, the thing there is if you follow the New Testament and the apostolic success, which we do, because the Church of England isn't entirely Protestant in the sense of other Protestant domination. It is just it follows all the creeds that devolve from Rome. No, women cannot lead congregation. They cannot preside over congregation. That is as clear. And you may not like it, but
listen, I am not by any means any sort of religious expert. but I
Yeah.
do know that the High Church of England is pretty Anglo-Catholic for the most part. So
Yeah, and the thing is, there are people who will change their views on a dime and will probably use and have like this cognitive dissonance to like sort of cope themselves into agreeing to such things. And I think people have done over the years. And look, she believed 100% in the scripture, in the teachings of the church, and that sort of bore out in her conversion. Because, quite frankly, I mean, it is. I mean, it is probably female priests is a blatant disregard of a very important part of Christianity, that of the rites of mass, of rites, and apostolic succession. If you believe, and the thing though is, you have like
it's anti-Christianity, AI. And
well, because
like I said, I
yeah.
don't even claim to be a Christian. I'm an agnostic, right? I used to be a long time ago an atheist, but
Yeah,
these
and
days I'm an agnostic. I'm an don't know. So I'm no great like expert on theology, but yes, female priests is anti-Christian. It just is, really.
well, and this all comes from Paul, from Saint Paul, and
Yeah.
if you're a Christian, and I see Christians today who will say, "Well, we ignore Paul." Well, if you ignore Paul, you might as well be a Muslim, because that's what Muslims are. And I'm not even joking. That is Islam. But the core tenet of Islam is that Christianity was fine, but then Paul came along and he twisted it. That's their understanding of it. So, if you're a Christian, you have to accept entirely the doctrine by Saint Paul, who all of it was revealed. And again, he had revealed from Jesus himself, and he was martyred along with Peter and other apostles as well. So, look, but she never, she was never a hypocrite in her faith, and I think that's a very important thing you don't see nowadays. Most people are hypocrites when it comes to they talk about, a lot of the Christian stuff now on the right is very much a LARP. If I'm being honest, you have people who one day be Orthodox bros, then Catholics, then Cervantes, then this, that, and the other. It's just a LARP, and it's basically just playing costume, and I hate it. It's
you pick and choose the quotes that you like, sort of clip out of context or whatever, to sort of whatever you need at the time.
I've got more time for people like Tom Rousel, who is like just says he's a pagan, and he doesn't change all the time. And I like Tom Rousel, Survive the Jive on YouTube. Someone was saying they drove all the way from Yorkshire to find me. Mate, you'd come unstuck if you did that. Because I had a drug dealer who lived across the road from me try to kill me with a aluminium baseball bat. It didn't work out too well for him.
He's dead now.
No. He's still alive. He's still alive, and he lives across the road from me. But you know what? Doesn't come into my garden.
In constant terror.
He doesn't speak to me anymore. He doesn't have anything to do with me anymore, which is all I wanted, really. So yeah, but yeah, he survived the jive's a good guy. Tom Rousel, good bloke, like him, and he's not Christian.
No, honestly, on that note, I wouldn't want to meet what was it, a 20-year-old Iron Duke in the bush, in the bush somewhere. That would be like
Mate, honestly, this dude, I'm not joking. Like he was having a go at his neighbor, which they often do, and they're both shitbags. I've got no time for either of them. And they were all shouting and swearing. This is like 11 o'clock Right. So I'm in my bedroom and I'm going to bed and I'm laying my blind. And for some reason, he took an objection to this. Comes over to my place with a fucking great big, massive aluminium baseball bat, aluminum if you're an American. And I got this little stick in my bedroom that I keep for precisely this purpose. It's a hardwood stick about 6 foot long. And I said, all right then, mate, let's see how we go. And then once I'd driven him over his wall, he decided it wasn't so good. And the cops turned up. It was so funny. There was like 6 cops turned up. Like, I think it was 4 blokes and 2 chicks. And they've all got guns because Australian cops all carry guns. And my next door neighbor, who's a little old lady, said, we heard he hit you with this bat. I said, no, he didn't. No, not at all. I just laughed, you know. And anyway, they took him away eventually. But I didn't press any charges on him or anything because I just said to him, I said, don't come in my fucking garden again, mate. And he never has, so that's fine. He can do his little drug dealer bullshit, and I don't give a shit, frankly, as long as he leaves me alone. But yeah. But was I worse in my 20s? I don't know. Probably worse in my 30s, actually. But when I was in my 30s, I had a 9mm and a 5.56 rifle. I was probably much worse then. But then I lived in South Africa, so there you go. But yeah, I think more is going to come out of this Widdicombe case than we have got yet.
Yeah.
And we might, if we're lucky, we might eventually get the true story. But I don't think it's a random murder because he didn't live somewhere where you get randomly murdered. You know what I mean?
No,
there was no robbery.
No. Yeah, and I'm already seeing people like Alison Pearson and a few others that she just said. I presume these are people who were journalists who've been to her house before, and they said that apparently her bungalow, where she lived, the picture we saw, it had CCTV cameras all over, and they were live and active.
So they're going to know who did this.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which then begs the question, why did they arrest the wrong person to begin with?
Because they wanted to arrest a straight white male to stop anyone getting
just hoping. It was just hoping.
Yeah.
It's just like
every 2
let's find one.
Weeks, every 2 or 3 weeks we get an outrage against our people, and they just wanted to avoid that, basically.
Police are still saying at this time there's no information to suggest it was terrorism related. Yeah, whatever.
Oh, come on.
Whatever. This is after their second arrest. It's like, yeah, right.
Yeah, but this makes it even more likely it wasn't a white guy.
Well,
because their big deal for like diversity is mustn't be terrorism. Yeah?
Well, I'm going as yeoman of the parish of where I reside in the West Country, and also as a former, also as a custodian of a castle. I'm declaring it a terror incident anyway. So fuck you. I am declaring it a terrorist incident.
So it's counter-terrorism police who arrested the guy in Yorkshire. But don't worry, it's nothing to do with that.
But it's not terrorism. Yeah. Okay. Can you believe anything the British police say today? Because I don't think you can, really. I mean, they're just an organization that lies.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys. Yeah.
Sorry, just in the last comment in chat by Olan B with Russell Crowe playing Retirement Duke. Imagine like Russell Crowe playing you, Duke, but you're going through like the mean streets of.
It's Gran Torino. It's Gran Torino with Iron Duke. Yeah.
No, Death Wish. Just
okay, right. Yeah.
Death Wish with Iron Duke.
I'll be honest. I think I should play Russell Crowe, but anyway. No.
You might be. What, Russell Crowe now or Russell Crowe like 20 years ago?
Well, I mean now, obviously, But
no, you do a sequel to Master and Commander with Duke playing Russell Crowe's character.
Yeah, I'd be Admiral Sir Jack Aubrey. Yes, absolutely.
I could be the boy that lost his arm. I'll be all grown up by now. I'll be like the cabin boy.
By this stage, you'd be my best frigate captain, AI.
Oh, there you go.
You have a 48 gun frigate, which would take on an enemy like Ship of the Line or something like that. Yeah, that would be all.
Yeah.
Have to be in like the Opium Wars or something, and you just get to blow up like Chinese junks the whole film. Or
storm ports with 50 guns in them.
I love the ship in there, HMS Nemesis. That just destroyed their entire fleet. Such a cool name.
I don't even know where that comes from. Sorry.
In the Opium Wars, there was this.
One
of the first ironclads.
One of the iron ships. Yeah.
Yeah, and just annihilated the whole fleet, the whole Chinese fleet.
Yeah, and as Adaman, our friend on this channel, has pointed out, calling them the Opium Wars is actually not true, because it was about a lot more than that. But
the British-China trade war.
which is true enough, but it wasn't like the Chinese call them the Opium Wars because the Chinese want to appear good, if very weak.
They call it the century of humiliation. And
good, and so they should, because so they were.
Well, do you know what it's like? Okay, yeah, you're bitter, but also your entire population got addicted to opium, so that's on you. That's on you.
Well, that's not totally true, but the so-called Opium Wars were not really about opium, but anyway, whatever.
Why there's a fentanyl and opioid crisis in many Western countries, because it's the Chinese shipping it in because it's all about revenge.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm eccentric enough. I could probably handle a good dose of opium regularly, and that wouldn't affect me. I'd be like Sherlock Holmes.
It's funny, since the Taliban have come back in Afghanistan, the amount of opium being grown there has been slashed.
Gone up.
So now there's less of it.
Oh no, absolutely, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
So now,
when
so
Britain and America ran it got to its peak.
Yeah, but now it's back down. So they're like drug dealers are using fentanyl instead of opium, and they're cutting that in their drugs.
I suspect opium's probably better than fentanyl.
Yeah, it is.
Who knows? Who knows?
Well, actually, if I get my hand on, actually, it'd be a good idea for my next live stream. I'll try a bit of opium, and I'll try a bit of fentanyl, and I'll let you know. I'll do a live stream, 24-hour live stream on this, and see how we go.
Yeah.
I mean, you've already read 120 Days of Sodom, so
Yeah.
You can't go down much lower, AI. You've already done.
You've already simped for Caligula, so.
And imagine that, the headlines, far-right British YouTuber who read 120 Days of Sodom, and then also promotes Caligula.
Does opium and fentanyl, yeah.
Yeah, overdoses on opium and fentanyl stream.
Nigel Farage will have you on the front page of Reform UK.
Yeah, I just say I'm
They'll use this to cover up the Anne Widdecombe stuff.
They would
be the new headline.
Yeah. They straight up would
sweep this under the rug. Focus on this crazy guy instead.
This evil AI guy. Beta Britannia, would you like to plug your channel, sir?
Yes. I host streams on various topics, mostly historical. The main thing I'm working on at the moment is a series on modern Iran. The next episode is going to be looking at the kind of period of consolidated power of the last Shah in the 1960s and 70s prior to the revolution. So if you're interested, please give that a watch. And I've also returned to the topic of the German Conservative Revolution or the interwar rights. And the last stream I did last Saturday was looking at Oswald Spengler's Prussianism and socialism and the antagonism between the English and the Prussians. So you can give that a watch as well.
Yeah, and I will just say, like, if you're interested at all in the Middle East and such things in history, Beta Britannia's the bloke to go check out. Like, if I ever do a stream on the Middle East, I won't do it unless Bede comes on. So it's as simple as that. He's got a good channel. He also does cooperations with Apostolic Majesty and other good historians. So do go and check him out. Tharium, anything you want to plug, mate?
Not at the moment.
Mercian, anything you'd like to plug?
Yeah, subscribe to my channel to see if we can get some content out soon. I did have a really popular streaming channel. It's getting really late, Lauren Duke. Can't speak. Yeah, if you want to subscribe to my channel, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, go and check out Mercian. AI, would you like to plug your channel, sir?
Yeah, check out William Grenville, aka AI Shiatori. And what's this here? Apart from my drug 24-hour drug stream, in the works.
Which
Kidding
he never,
YouTube.
which he never does,
Kidding.
guys.
No, I'm kidding YouTube. Kidding. It's a joke. We're not doing it. Drugs are bad. Don't do it, children. But anything planned in the works? I might do follow up of the Anne Widdecombe story come next week, see what happens. And I'll try and do another Crusade stream. I'll try and organize another one soon. So yeah.
AI's got an excellent channel. I've been on there a few times. He's a good guy. All right, guys. Like I said, please support the channel. You can do it via Subscribe Star for a whole $5 a month. Give the stream a like, and we may see you on Wednesday. I'm threatening the guys in my Discord to be doing the Battle of Spienkock in 1900. But I might get a better suggestion than that. But I will do something on Wednesday for his stream. I'm kind of getting into the idea of doing a history stream every 2 weeks and this stream every week. So we'll see. But yeah, and also RIP to Anne Widdecombe, who I thought was a nice English old lady. But yeah. Thank you to my guests, Beta Britannia, Tharium, AI Shiatori, Mercian, and of course, Aubrey Alley, who has left us. And Aubrey Alley has some good streams on her channel, mostly like quiz shows and things, but check her out. But all right, guys, go well, and thank you to my guests.